Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Golden Feather Tavern. I am Chibi, acting as your host today, while Vertec is far away, coming through a different portal. Today is February the 11th, 2025, and I'm losing track of which episodes are which anymore, because we're just having fun talking with you guys most of the time. I know I updated it in the title, but I can't see it right this second. Pulling up chat, there we go. Bad audio equals best streams never restart. So Vertec, how are you doing coming from 387 if we're guessing? That sounds great. Let's go with that. Definitely 387. Let's outshine the main podcast with the Tavern Talk.
There it is. Hey, I'm doing pretty all right. Obviously travel is ick. And you know, posted a pic in the Discord of what I'm looking at when I look right out the window right there. Snow and ick.
I saw that you had some cold stuff up there. I feel for you.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan
There's
at
a
all.
reason. There's a big reason why we moved away from the cold. And Vertec's out there looking at it like, I don't think I like this.
Yeah, everyone's asking, why don't you move back up here? You're up here often enough. No. Because of all that out there. No.
Yeah.
No.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Wizzy wants to know where you are right now.
I'm up in Virginia technically, but right around the DC area.
Well, Steven ended up not being able to stream yesterday, if you guys were waiting for him to. I know I was kind of waiting for him to, but we still had fun panicking and everything else. Hello, High Priestess Moon, welcome in.
Big sad.
Oh my gosh, thank you for following the channel, appreciate you. I actually just realized, I just realized I didn't even get anything to drink for this. So I might have to go fix that in a second. But have you had a chance to look at the PTR notes that came out?
I did really quick earlier, but I legitimately just got done doing work stuff like 35 minutes ago. So
Fair.
I'm gonna have to pull them back up to remember what they were. I know I looked them over during lunchtime. Yeah,
that's baby Snow. You're silly. No, you don't understand. It doesn't matter how small the baby Snow is. It's still snow. It's still cold.
Still snow.
It got cold enough to put white stuff on the ground. And that's a no in our book. You could tell where we're not going to live in Vera. Susuma says, I think the PTR notes look great. I agree. Also, welcome in. I can't wait to go over them. Honestly, there's a bunch of UI updates and a huge amount of economy updates. So I'm pretty excited about those. What are you talking about? Snow is great. No, snow is not
crazy.
Great.
You very crazy.
Snow is cold and very much not fun. But Yeah, I'm live. Okay. I forgot if I put myself out of the private. Snow is a 4-letter word. It is. It is a 4-letter word. Not paying attention to Ashes at all. How is Ashes looking? It's looking pretty good. They're definitely currently going through a variety of chibi take. Oh, you're doing the chibi takeover after?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I just left chibi take over there. But yeah,
Okay.
I got it updated, Osiris. It's not Monday anymore. It's Tuesday now.
Did mine not go through? I updated it on
I
the.
don't
Oh,
think so.
I didn't hit done. That's what it was. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, now I overrode it again. Sorry.
Silly done button. Silly done button.
Look, man, I'm running everything over here right now. Vertex just remoting in from somewhere else. But
hopefully next time I'll have a better camera, because the one on this laptop is just ew.
Yeah. I was trying to get him to bring the one that I'm using with him, but alas, can only help so much when you're on short time. Vertex in the basement, I knew it. No, he's not. He's not in the basement.
Not today,
See,
not this time.
We're in 2 separate taverns. Look at our background.
Look at our background. It's totally different. It's totally different.
It's totally different. Adding coal to stones gatherables is huge. Yes, that was going to be one thing I noticed. So, I don't know about you, Vertex, but I noticed a lot of people talking about like trying to find coal right now, and I think that's mainly for steel weapons.
Something in there, yeah, it makes sense.
Coal seems to be a lot like fat at the moment, where you are limited by whatever rarity of coal you can get as to what weapon you can make with steel. So that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I got, maybe the tip's a little bit too late, but I was killing time a little bit yesterday, just randomly running around on the lobby, and I got like, I think 4 pieces of coal over by Nuela, just smacking at rocks over there for rocks and trees for like an hour or so.
Yeah, but what rarity is the important part?
Oh, coal.
Yeah, but like people were getting coal, but they weren't getting higher rarities. They're primarily getting common and uncommon.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Although apparently somebody in the entire server was getting pretty lucky with their coal. But one of our own guildmates.
Coal mine.
Yeah, exactly. One of our own guildmates were trying really hard to get some really good coal. See, that's a good point. Susuna says, I'm level 46 mining, haven't even seen blue coal, although a guildie got 3 heroic.
Nice.
It's crazy. But that's how I feel with that.
Obviously, time spent doesn't make you better.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point, Pockets. He says, I have 1 heroic, but it's a process. So if you want to process legendary, you need legendary coal. And that's exactly the point that I was making with it being just like that. I have heroic and rare coal. Both came from limestone. Nice. Yeah, so they added a bunch more coal to stone gatherable drop tables. So hopefully we'll see more of those. I also got white coal from legendary obsidian node. Oh, that's fun. By the way, Vertex, I don't know.
Hilarious.
I don't know why Restream's not restreaming the chat from YouTube, but
let's see if I can kick it real quick.
It's been a little bit mean. Hello, Nuclear Tango. Welcome in. Resource rarity is flawed for sure. GM Lumberjack here. Have not cut a single legendary log of any tree type. Wow. All the way up to Grandmaster and not 1 legendary log. Woof. Welcome in, by the way, Massimo. I feel that. Twitch is better than YouTube. You know, I would agree, but YouTube has the better quality and no ads. Just saying. I think it's worth looking at needing wool. Once we finally get Journeyman Farm, we can buy gray sheep and process twice. So maybe we'll get rare wool. Maybe, because I'd say maybe if the farmer has a good shirt on, and then the Weaver has a good shirt on? Question mark.
A little bit from here, a little bit from there.
Oh my gosh, thank you for the sub. I definitely have to go grab a drink. Is there anything off the top of your head that you want to talk to them about so I can run away and get a drink real quick?
Let me real quick get these notes up here so I know what I'm talking about, because I forget what they are already. Work has wiped my brain.
No worries. Do you have the link, or do you want me to send it to you?
If you have it right there, that'd be easier.
There you go. Oh, I'm making you drink. You are making me take a drink. I gotta go get it though. Let me go grab the bubbly. Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness. She's abandoning me. Abandoning me, I tell you.
I am.
Oi, oi, oi. So yeah, I've just started the Gatherer's journey myself. Got on an alt, running around with my little bard. She's actually doing really fun with the gathering, because I can zip, zip, zip from one to the next. Oh man, there we go. Let me try this again. You know, if there's one critique I can give to Intrepid when it comes to their forums, it's you have the single sign-on from the main website, but it's not exactly working. Should probably bind that stuff together a little bit closer. Obsessed with gathering. Yeah, I saw on the Discord you just have like a gazillion and one mats. Like the gathering goddess, the high gathering goddess. 10 legendary willow yesterday. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. See, people are telling me about how tough a time they're having getting legendary willow and legendary braidwood. Or even finding braidwood, really. But then here I was with my 0 gathering skills, running around on my main and finding braidwood every which way and telling people, hey, I just found like 17 willow trees here. And that's not even an exaggeration. I literally found like 17 willow trees that nobody was touching, and a couple of them were like full-grown adults. Completely unmolested. It's crazy. Hey, oh yeah. The option to use raid frames instead of party frames. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So many people were so
amazing.
excited about that. Hi, Taffy. Welcome in. I was stepping away to get a drink because someone subscribed. So cheers to the goddess.
Yeah, see, now I need to go get mine too.
Goddess. I hear apparently not high goddess moon, but goddess of gatherables. Cheers.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do a cheers to the goddess of gatherables, I'll get some good gatherables on Thursday. Hello, Gutsgore. Welcome in.
All right, and then let's see here. I know Chappie said, "What's happening? What's happening?
Yep.
How you doing, friend?" But hello there. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll be right back now myself. I'm just gonna grab stuff and I'll mix it right in front of you. Haha.
Okay. Vertex gonna be making his own bar drinks right in front of us. Eric says, can we get coal from treasure chest? Looks like 25 to 30 in a chest. Also, AI Vertex looks great. AI Vertex? What do you mean by AI Vertex? But I don't know if you can get it from chests. I know that you can get it from rocks, but probably. I think you get a lot of gatherables, but maybe they're not quite in yet. Hi, Basil, by the way. Need equals nerd. What?
I mean, it's not far from the truth. Not far. Oh, okay. I see. Need convention, nerd convention. I get it. And say it's not far from the truth because it's only one letter different. It's 25% difference. It's not exactly an equal sign.
What did I miss while I was away? Hold on. That's exactly what I did, unless you're online with the server restart, so you can grab the legendary epic wood nodes. You won't get anything out of the value that day. That's fair. Oh, nerd convention. Got it. Welcome. Gotcha. I see it. Can't gather on my bard alt because I see things on my main, and by the time my alt gets there, it's gone. So now I'm herbing, jacking, and mining on my main. Feels that. Hi Basil. I don't know if I said that already. Hi. Sitsuma says, as somebody with an entire guild able to time and farm epic Lego nodes for me, I still can't wait until they fix harvesting and remove static node rarity. I'm really hoping that's fixed by P3 and fresh start servers. So you're hoping also for some fresh start servers for phase 3. Massimo says, yeah, when I learned about this, it demotivated me from playing until the next phase. Yeah, I intentionally don't mark or time nodes for that reason. It just feels like, yeah, same. And like, I know that they exist, and I no shade on the people that do it. I just, for one, will have way too much ADHD to sit there and wait for 4 hours and come back to get it.
Cheers.
Cheers. I will probably forget all about where that node was until it's been like 5 or 6 hours, and by then somebody else has probably already picked it, so I just don't even bother. I want fresh start so we can't race change when Pyric. Yes, because that was gonna be my biggest thing, Vertec. If they release Pyre and they don't do a fresh start, I'm gonna essentially be fresh starting anyway, because I want to be a Pyre, so I gotta start all over.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of people sad if they didn't have fresh start servers now. The real question that is what Sitsuma said there, and yeah, that's the one everyone's kind of asking and curious about, is if they're gonna do everything fresh start, or only have
what happens if I do this?
Some servers as a choice to fresh start.
Yay!
Hmm?
I did it.
Yeah.
I've never gotten to do that.
Well, there you go. Now's your first time.
I did it.
Success.
Oh no! Wait, it works! Yay! It fixed itself. Unless you fixed it behind the scenes.
No, what'd you do? What fixed?
I didn't do anything. I just turned on everything, and the Champion of the Hill is working. So I didn't do anything. I'm here.
Oh, just an issue from yesterday.
Honestly, I'm thinking my computer may not actually be able to handle everything.
I think it can. I think you just had some other issues we gotta look through.
Let me explain why. Because even after I restarted, I started seeing the frame drop going up again. Like by the time I ended, it was back at 42. And I didn't even click out of it, so. Jan says, I think they said they'd make the current server sort of a PTR server and fresh start being fresh. Yeah, possibly, but I think they've been wiping PTR servers even. So, I mean, eventually Alpha 2, when we move on from Alpha 2, will be the PTR. So that's absolutely correct, especially going into beta. But at the moment, it's more of, do they wipe all of them and we do fresh starts, or are they just adding new ones that are fresh start? And then the follow-up question is, who stays on the ones that are already up and who goes to the new ones if they are gonna do it that way? Yeah. I got something. I'm strong. I don't know.
Winner with the donut.
Oh, well, that makes sense. If I won with a donut, that probably just means, like somebody said yesterday, I bribed all of you.
True story.
TV too much
TV
to handle.
like
I am. I like
bribing
trading
people for step stools, but winning a fight is also not below her. Well,
rude.
Yeah, that works still.
Rude. Winning a fight is not below me. Well, good. I'm glad to know I'm not too short for a fight. I can confirm that all the major guilds will re-roll to fresh start servers once they're out. Fair. She got all those small spaces and waited until it was a 1v1. I was just like hiding. I would totally probably do that. That reminds me back with APOC, remember Vertec, when I would try to hide places. Steven had mentioned this on his stream with Jamie and Annie, but during APOC, there was essentially a polymorph like chest that you could get, and it essentially turned you into a prop hunt kind of thing. So I would run around and I would try to turn into an item and hopefully blend in, except for when it doesn't work, like when you're a tree inside of a building or something, and people usually could tell, like, oh, that's not right. You could even turn into a caravan. That was pretty fun. But I would try to hide places. Be nice to TV being short means she's gonna grind punch level. Oh my gosh.
It was really funny walking around a corner in the middle of the woods to try to hide, and you hit the polymorph and you turn into like a lamppost.
Yeah. Ooh, Massimo says, I've come to the conclusion that they will wipe everything. Too many exploits have spoiled the current phase already. Agree with Sitsuma that most big guilds are aware of this. Yeah. But I don't know. Are there any of the like notes that are kind of poking out to you for PTR? When does phase 3 start? It's supposed to start May 1st, I believe. Around then. Not like guaranteeing May 1st, but they're guessing May 1st. So you have a couple more months.
Yeah. That's the estimated. We shall see. Let's see. So I just got this popped open here. A lot of the stuff kind of looked like just fixing issues, like nothing big and like, I don't know. I guess it depends on your point of view on what's big and crazy.
To you.
I do know that they did mention the siege doors. So I'm not sure if that's still only going to be on PTR or how long it's going to be on PTR, but they are still working on it.
The siege doors not being able to be healed.
Yeah.
I was totally healing the siege door. In PTR, they're like, guys, you're not supposed to be able to do that. And I was like, oh, okay, stop healing siege door. Yeah, it should still only be PTR, Sitsuma.
But that's okay. It needs a little bit of work there.
Yeah.
They're just really starting to work on node sieging.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least, based on PTR anyway, they're just starting. We could also be a couple builds behind, who knows? True.
I've always had that. Oh, sorry, that was a little bit loud. I've always had that theory where, because I'm a web developer, so what I show people is often like my 4th or 5th pass, and I've already fixed some other stuff before I've shown them that stuff. So it's if it's anything like that, it's very much the same, where I expect them to be a couple more builds ahead internally for testing stuff, but then showing us the more stable things, because I essentially build like a web page with a bunch of lorem ipsum on it and then give it to them and be like, what do you think? And then that way they're like taking notes on stuff while I put in the copy, like the actual information.
And yeah, the deconstruction thing, like Chaffee said, that's an interesting mention. I'm curious when that'll make it over to live.
Yeah, is it in here? Is the deconstruction in PTR? I didn't see it.
I guess
maybe
so.
I passed it.
They're saying they updated interfaces and icons and it lists a bunch of windows, and one of them is deconstruction window.
Ooh, okay. Very curious about that.
Maybe that'll be coming out soon too.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm super curious how that works. Yeah, what is that? So deconstruction is typically where, like, after you don't need an item anymore, you can break it down to get materials from it, I believe. Although I've always wanted to see, like, if there's let's say one of the Wreckage of Carfin bosses, it drops woeful slippers, right? And you either get the drop or you get like a recipe or like a item that you need to craft the recipe. What I think would be cool is let me deconstruct that to get a recipe out of it. Because if I'm deconstructing something, I'm getting an idea on how it was put together. So it would be cool if you could get a chance to get, if not guaranteed, at least a chance to get the recipe from it. Yeah, reverse engineering. I mean, that's how a lot of people figure out how things are built, I think.
How to make a better something, or at least if nothing else, like, think about it this way also for crafting. If you could create an item and then deconstruct the item into its components, you should gain more experience for that craft, I think.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool too, yeah.
So you could build a shirt, gain 100 points, deconstruct a shirt, gain 50 points. Reconstruct the shirt, gain 100, deconstruct, gain 50.
But I'm imagining if you're deconstructing it, there's a chance that you might lose like materials, but you'd be reusing a portion of your materials if it were to work like that.
Yeah.
Stacey was like, nope, I need glint, not gold.
Yeah. I mean, that's always how it's been in games that I've played around with the Avid deconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you'll get like 50% of the materials back. It's not even a chance. Like you're going to only get 50% back. But even when it comes to like sewing a shirt, since you're a tailor, like you're going to lose some, because when you go to remake the shirt, you can't really make it quite to the same dimension because there's less material there now.
Yeah. Massimo says that may lead to a problem of people only doing combat to collect resources instead of collecting them in the wild. What I'm getting at is not necessarily like a raw resource. Like, for example, to make Moonbell, like shirt, you need Moonbell and wood. So what I'm thinking is maybe you can reserve maybe half the materials or a quarter of the materials for breaking it down. But you'd still need the other half of the materials to 3/4. I can math 3/4 of the material. So that way you can build another one. It's just more like reusing some of the fabric versus like only being able to do collection through that. It also may help people get some of the stuff that they are struggling to get. Like for me, I can't do weaving, but I can do tailoring. If I can deconstruct a shirt, I can get maybe some of those bolts back. I can then make something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Item drop rates are so low that it likely wouldn't impact wild farming anyways. I would agree with that. I think you would get more from going out and getting Bluebell and Moonbell or whatever and getting it that way than, breaking something down. But I think it would be cool to have something come back from it. I just got JM weaving. Yay! I can't wait till we get JM herbalism. Same. Deconstruct would be kind of like a craft. Break stuff down for people as profession. Recipes drop as a reward. That could be cool. Yeah. I like that. Let me add that on the screen. There we go.
Yeah, like a whole extra like reverse engineer.
Yeah.
Artisan skill.
Also, I'm not very familiar with New World, but apparently, according to Eric, New World, you get half your mats back. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it seems fairly standard. Relatively, anyway.
Relatively. I love that they added new gatherable poppy variants. I am curious about what that is. I really wanted to jump in. Unfortunately, by the time I got ready to be home, it was time to get ready for the podcast, which means that the PTR went down for the day. But that's what Wednesdays are for me. If PTR is up, I tend to like hang out on the PTR and check it out. A tinker profession that breaks things down. I could totally see that. That'd be cool. That would add another like artisan. Maybe it'd be a processing type. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me into the PTR.
Professions like they do classes where you can multi-class.
Yeah.
Have a primary and secondary crafting archetype.
Oh my gosh. Now you're just calling it messy.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Another good news for you, Moon, is that they fixed a bug with some of the trees being uninteractable while we were running around. She was like, oh, look, there's a willow. You can't interact with it, though. So I just look at it and go, aw, and then move along. So apparently they're fixing that. Does my miner get better stones or better gems? That's a great question. I like that idea. I think that's where the tree is supposed to come in, the crafting tree. Are you going for more of a stone miner or a gem miner? I have no idea how that's going to look, to be honest. This is just random stabs in the dark. What's big that's coming soon? Just Rogue? So Rogue is actually coming tomorrow for PTR, specifically PTR. I don't know when Rogue is coming, but the other thing that Steven mentioned was at the end of this month, I don't know if that's PTR or live, they're going to be done with the desert. I don't know if that's even just like internally. But I'm pretty excited to see what the rest of this desert is. I'm pretty sure it may not include things like the giant raids, because after all, I was mentioning this to Gildy and Vertec, feel free to jump in too. But Befallen Forge came in after, so I could totally see like some of the bigger raid things coming in after, but just getting the nodes up to get as many level 3-ish nodes out there as possible.
Yeah, it's always a question on what exactly they mean by that, like fully, like complete. Like what does complete mean exactly? Like literally every POI ready to go, or just.
And Moon says, "Can we get some roads in the desert, please?"
Got plenty of roads. It's just they're soft. They're very soft.
And full of dangers.
Yeah, that too.
Massimo says, I foresee current bank storage limitations becoming an issue as they put more variety of resources into the game. It's already hard enough managing bank space with the currently available resources. Honestly, for me, this is where having like a couple of the crafting capabilities that are like within like a node of each other or two is not so bad, because then I could keep like, say, all of my gems in one storage and all of my weaving in another storage, for example.
So, you said dopamine disbanded? We're serious? What happened there?
Oh, I wasn't even talking about guilds. I was talking about all the NPCs on the roads.
Oh no, I was reading. Sorry.
No. I know. I'm responding to Setsima. Setsima.
Oh yeah. Because you were saying the roads are full of danger.
Yeah. No, I see. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying because that's where that came from. Is I was saying that there are roads in the desert, but they're full of sand, and you said and danger.
Yeah.
You're saying they're not full of danger anymore, at least not in Vyra.
Yeah, I see Setsuma's response. I was talking to Setsuma about meaning. I was saying they're full of danger because of the NPCs. Alcialde says, nah, when they start sieges, your stuff's gonna get lost when a node is destroyed. I mean, yeah, possibly if you don't get it out in time. Savior Zero, hello. Will controller support be added at some point? I have no idea. I don't know if that's necessarily a plan for them, but I mean, having that feedback, letting them know that you're interested in that might not be a bad idea. I do know that some people do have some sort of disabilities where that might be helpful for them.
Yeah, I can say that I saw somebody in the Reddit that's saying they got it working.
Ah, okay, cool.
When that was working, but they were talking about running it on controller.
Yeah.
It's not native, but they got it working.
Yeah. By the way, welcome in. And Setsuma says dopamine disbanded due to attrition. No crazy drama. Still cold. Welcome in. I'm pretty sure that's Sagan. One day you shall return to me. Jan says, I don't know. Dopamine made a huge effort towards getting Vyra's underdeveloped desert nodes developed. They seem like they were trying to turn things around. I don't know. Vyra's so bloody backwater compared to phase 1. Yeah. Alcialde says, when a node siege is declared, you can't pull materials out of storage. It's at risk. Yeah, I'm aware, but I'm just saying, if you think that there's going to be a siege happening, you should probably get your stuff out. Just saying. Because I mean, diversify
your stuff across multiple storages.
Yeah, rumors spread for sure. But yeah, Vertec, I was talking with somebody, I forgot who it was, but they were talking about how, Vyra was way better, but Resna disbanded when they gave just the 2 options, and nobody, like a lot of the bigger groups apparently didn't want to go up against pirates, so they all went Vyra. And so now that's why Vyra is the way that it was, but in phase 1 it was a lot more probably like Lineth, I would imagine.
Yeah, I just know that most stories of toxicity come from Vyra.
Oh yeah.
But, there are still some on Lineth. Not gonna lie, there's one main trouble guild and another one that's on the rise for for causing trouble.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, Chaffee says funny how many big guilds are scared of pirates. It's fun fighting pirates, in my opinion. I've been enjoying it whenever I do.
And so many guilds will talk big talk until they get faced with somebody who has more numbers, and then they just fade into the background somewhere.
Yeah, but like we have
Just
maybe
saying.
like 50 to 100 people. It's still really fun. Massimo says it could be with limited bank space. There's intention by the devs to prevent players from hoarding resources and influencing their respective markets. Also, converting materials into items or assets prevents them from being lost. Yeah, that's fair. Xavier0 says, nice, would help me and a friend out for sure. I have neuropathy in my hand, sadly. Keyboard C and mouse play has been hard lately. Yeah, I have a friend that I don't know what exactly his disability is, but he uses a lot of foot pads to help him move around. And I know a lot of people that don't have disabilities that use foot pads because apparently you can also key those up into like the different keybinds. So yeah, that's how I've heard some people getting like really good at PvP because they're using foot pads on top of everything else. But that's definitely something like Intrepid always asks, you know, what else can we integrate? Steven, I believe, is colorblind. So anything that is kind of a, like, not just a nice to have, but like, hey, I would like this so that I can actually play Ashes. They probably would want to hear about that. Just FYI. Sutsuma says it's not about being scared of pirates, it's about wanting to play the game without being zerged down for every node. I don't really get zerged. The only node I've ever been zerged down for is the raptors. They really wanted those raptors. The server isn't large enough for pirates and big guilds on the same server. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And to put it to voice, that sounds to me like they don't want to be the smaller fish. They want to be the big fish that zergs everything down. Because zerg just means overwhelm with larger numbers. So if they're the ones with larger numbers and they don't want to be on another server with someone else who has larger numbers, they want it to be easy mode while claiming that it's not easy mode. But it is, because you're the larger guild, right?
That being said, if our guild wanted something, or like we're trying to defend something and the pirates were coming after us, we, for the most part, were able to go toe to toe with pirates. I just want to be a fish with a house and a farm. But it's like, I don't even care about being a big fish or a small fish. I just want to be a fish.
Yes, I would love them all to fight over the raptors. That would be amazing and entertaining to watch them literally fight over the raptors.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get it. I mean, there's plenty of people in Pirates that sell raptor hides. People want money.
I would love to watch that battle, as a matter of fact. I would pay money to watch that battle.
Yeah. Honestly, that'd be more interesting.
Yeah,
competitive immersion gameplay.
To be honest.
Yeah. I hope in future phases they cut us down to one server spread across the entire Western continent. I've been able to snag a few raptors myself and play Steel Bloom. Yeah, Steel Bloom is one of the locations. The others out in the desert.
Yeah, well, raptors aren't the hot point now. Now the hot points are out in the desert, and they're the ghost guy at church that drops the lion. Yeah. The lion is camped 24/7. Literally, I have not stopped on there and seen the lion not camped.
Yeah, see, that sounds interesting. Honestly, Sutsuma, like, that sounds interesting to watch because, I mean, I'm tiny, so I know the likelihood of me winning in any of that is not high, but yeah.
Yeah,
that still sounds very interesting.
The fastest land amount right now.
Yeah.
High Priestess Moon. It's 180 speed. Everything else is, or 180, 185, one of those two, I forget. And everything else is, the only reason people want them is because of aesthetics or because it's faster in the water.
Yeah, you don't want to buy that if you can avoid it. You might want to see if you can farm it while nobody else is farming it, but that is also a thing. It's like 75 gold or something. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, I've tried checking right before the server goes down. I've tried checking right after the server comes up. I've tried checking it every time of the day, and every single time I swing by there are no less than 4 different guild names being represented at that spawn.
Yeah, I'm sure, Sutsuma. The more to the point is that like that's not what our server is fighting over. I think a lot of those people already have their best in slot because they've been farming them for the last month and a half to 2 months. So they don't really need them anymore, which is why they're more open. I'm going to get rich somehow. Don't worry. I think I'm at 20 gold now. Nice.
Yeah, Sutsuma. If you're over on Vyra, then your server is far behind on the crafting schedules. Like everybody got their raptor skins stocked up, but since we can't get legendary or epic stuff to pop out of hunting really, unless it's an accidental prop or proc rather, people are kind of waiting until that gets fixed before they go nuts on it any further. They've all gotten their rares and their heroics.
Real quick, well, it went away on screen, but I can still read it out. Massimo says, this game is built around PvP / fighting over resources, to be fair. Sucks at getting zerged, but half the fun is trying to outsmart the strategy with your own guild. And I agree with that. Raid frame for healers? Yeah, ever since you guys started doing healing.
Raid frames, super awesome to get that in party.
Vyra's bis is currently full set of level 10 with high quality enchanting. And I mean, that's currently the bis on Lyneth as well, but I think that's changing here soon. I'm changing the song. I don't know. I hate this song so much. I'm sorry. But Lyneth is getting some like journeyman. Well, we have journeyman weaving already. I think we just got journeyman tailoring done. And the next one is journeyman herbalism that we're trying to get up so that we can actually get some really good stuff. Good to see you guys too. Thanks for dropping in again. We did not go all over the entire patch notes. We're just picking out some stuff. I mean, I'm happy to read through them if you guys want. But chat's been going pretty well. That I think. Thank you for the hydrate. I think we've just been picking out our favorites. Cheers.
I don't have my water nearby, so I'm gonna hydrate with this.
Biscuit is level 10 enchantment. Level 20 is so exciting. It really is. It really is like enchanting level 20 gears. That does not look like water. It's water. Vertec and I like to put flavor in our water. So for me, it's water. Demon Soul!
For me, it's not.
Welcome in.
Hello, friend. Got the hydrate. Now the stretch. All right.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah, my water tastes like licorice.
Your stream Marvel Rivals. How have you enjoyed that game? Feds won a no notice war against pirates. It can definitely be done. Yeah, absolutely. And Feds are our Zerg that we have to fight against.
Yeah, Feds are our toxic guild on Lyneth. They're the ones that bring the toxicity. But yeah, pirates. Everyone was afraid to join a server with pirates, but they're actually really not bad. Really not.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoy it. Vertec and I were playing it a lot initially. I'm struggling with my earpiece. Sorry. You can win any war if you kill someone in Alt F4. I mean, that's cheating, but yeah, you could do it. I'm the most stoked for new recipes. I hope they come to live. Yes, soon, TM. I'm on Lyneth and haven't had any real issues. Yeah, it depends on which guild you're in. If you're our guild, you have a lot of issues. Apparently. I think that once Tropics is done, they condense to one server. Maybe we'll see. But don't forget, once they get down to Tropics, Phase 3 includes a lot more people. Gotta play something while I can't play OC. Very fair. Now that a few things are out on Lyneth, the meta is absolutely going to change. Absolutely, Vanellis. Also, welcome in. Streamer Life Simulator 2. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I like seeing what games you guys play.
Yeah, it's got to wait for the Scribe to get the JM back out there, and for Alchemy to get JM, and then maybe we'll get level 20. You know, the max gear you can get. Oh.
They didn't change it to Arcane Engineering, by the way. It's still Scribe. There's just no Alchemy.
Okay, cool.
One of the bows that my officer made is insane. I bet It'll end up with Nova Ordum and their alliance taking one zone, Pirate taking one zone, and Polar Envious alliance taking one zone. Yep, probably. I don't doubt that. In chat, maybe in our Discord, just because I think links are reserved for subscribers.
Yar. But all right, go back up here. Yeah, Demon Souls tastes like black licorice.
Blah.
And you had a disconnect bug? I didn't even know there was a disconnect bug happening for Rivals.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Was that Rivals or was that Ashes?
The disconnect saying, really enjoy Rivals. Haha, lots of fun. Couldn't play at launch because of the DC bug.
Oh, okay.
Gotta play something while can't play AOC.
That's why I was thinking it may have possibly been Ashes because the can't play AOC. Yeah, we're stuck with Scribe because the demolish button is bugged. Oh no. Okay. Let's see.
Oh man. Well, hopefully it stays bugged and we can.
I don't really like it, Basil.
Alchemist up. Get Alchemist up, and then we can actually start. I don't know, enchanting appropriately leveled gear. That'd be pretty cool.
Or, you know, like actually feel like I'm a useful part of civilization because my it's bad enough I already don't get recipe drops as an alchemist, but to not have a journeyman alchemy table, I'm sad.
I feel your pain in Cook.
They did. Oh my god.
Hey.
Thank you,
Thank you for that. Holy mackerel.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Give me that 36 HP. Now, I got better. 366 HP or something like that. 362, 336. I don't know.
And I see we have some people's lurking, getting some tier 1 subs.
Yes.
Congrats, guys, and thank you.
Oh, one of them is Aloha, one of my favorite. I was actually like low-key lurking on her the other day while she was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, JM Alchemy's not on the plan.
Yeah.
JM Cooking is not on the plan. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I would really care if it did, because cooking seems to be a good way to go broke. People are selling that stuff for less than cost to make it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've been trying to just get you stuff to make it at all so that I can get better foods.
Well, see, the only thing out of all that you can actually like make money on potentially at the price they're selling it is the flowers. If you yourself go get the flowers and you cook them and then you make all the recipe with everything that needs to be bought from the vendors, those flowers are the only part that you don't buy from the vendor or pay in processing cost.
Ah, interesting.
And it's already coming up to just barely under what people are selling it for. So I don't know how they're doing it or why, but it's a good way to go broke if you're trying to get rich farming, or cooking rather.
Alchemy got the short stick too. We don't even have any recipes. At least cooking has recipes that drop. We're supposed to have recipes, but they don't drop. What if they added a hunger bar? No, Chaffee. No, stop turning this into one of your survival games. Okay? Stop it. Bad.
Yeah, no.
Then cooking go up.
No. More of these people would put it out for stinking 8 silver and 9 silver.
Just to hope people buy them in a bulk.
Yeah. Could you imagine spending, because to make a food item that they're selling for 8 silver and 80 copper with the 10% tax at the market, so they're actually putting it up for 8 silver, it takes 8 processing steps. Each food, 8 processing steps.
Do you see what Demon Soul put for the emote?
Bad?
Like a spray bottle.
Oh, the little spray button. Love it. Had to look closer at it. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, it's a little hard to see, tiny. But yeah, I want fishing to be done. Not the AFK placeholder in right now. Yeah, but everything's in like placeholder mode at the moment. So, I mean, I want things to be done too, but we gotta go through all of the placeholder stuff first. But and they did introduce additional crafting recipes in Sand Squall Desert, so I'm curious what that is, what the new recipes are. Perhaps maybe there's going to be more cooking recipes, etc.
Maybe. Who knows?
But I don't know. All I know is I was excited because I thought you made milk of the poppy because it sounded like a drink, not an alchemy thing. So I was like, ooh, I wonder what else you could make with this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or agave. I think we were talking about you being able to make syrup with the agave and then put it on some pancakes with the wheat.
Make some tequila with the agave.
No, true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Intrepid, are we allowed to have alcohol in game? Is that something? I mean, I guess you have mead, right?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, they were talking about making ales and stuff, so it'll be way down the line, I think.
Yeah, exactly. El Shalve says we still haven't gotten a ton of art systems. But I'm curious to see.
It's all very basic.
Since you're a cook, and I mean, you have a crap ton of recipes, what do you think you're going to be able to do with like a skill tree as a cook?
Honestly, I don't have any kind of suppositions on that, to be honest. I have zero assumptions, zero hopes, really. I kind of want to leave it open and just see what they do.
Taffy.
Because,
no.
Just seeing the way they went with some of the stuff, like even the guild tree was interesting, the direction they went.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of just waiting to see.
I didn't expect the guild tree to look like that, to be honest. Also, I kind of was hoping, thank you, by the way, for the level 3 hype train. Appreciate it. But I was kind of hoping that there's going to be more ways than just caravans to make guild XP.
And I need to do a recalculation on that just to see how much it is actually gonna run. But based on the one calculation we did, which was supposedly after the fix, it's something like 1,600 gold worth of caravan runs to level up to guild level 1. So you have a choice of doing the same runs with the same quantity of items at the same glint cost, and it'll cost you 1,600 gold worth of glint to level up to level 1 on a guild. Bananas.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was showing them yesterday how I think we have almost 200k XP, and I was like, look at that compared to the full amount of XP you need to get to the end of like level 1. Basil says, I think farming tree might break into animals branch and vegetable branch. I could see that. Oracle says it's scary to think that we are calling what we have right now basic when it's the most complicated artisan system I've ever seen. Oh, wait till you get to the higher tiers. That's all I'm gonna say. You think the lower tiers are hard or like complex. Wait till you get to JM. It gets crazy. It's already getting kind of crazy for some of the recipes at like Apprentice. But yeah, it's super, super basic. Saken wants to know... wait, hold on. Chaffee says, SREG made my head hurt. Fair. Saken wants to know what our thoughts are on the current state of alpha. Do we think that Zergs will be less impactful or painful as the map expands? And I think, Vertek, you and I talked about this a bit. Typically, I think that, we think that with the greater distances, especially once we get the full map in, it'll be really difficult to really Zerg, because, I mean, you might have like your Zergy-ish people in like different regions, so like that might be that region's version of a Zerg, but for the most part, like, I mean, just because we can look at it right now, think of getting all the way from the tropics, the furthest part of the tropics, to the furthest part of the desert. That's just a fraction of the map. How easy would that be to Zerg?
I mean, let's be honest here. Look at the map and think of a few guilds and how much of a hard time have they had Zerging that area. There's really not much of a difficulty they've had Zerging any point in that map.
Right.
If you're talking about expanding up to like full launch size, that'll be a whole different story.
Yeah, that was more of the question.
But when it comes to like Well, the current state of the alpha, do you think Zergs will be less impactful or painful as the map expands? So I'm
As the
assuming
map
like
expands,
during,
yeah.
Yeah, like in the near future, it's still going to be just as painful. In the long term future, like, I mean, I think the full map is going to be hard to Zerg.
Yeah. Satsuma says, cooking, there's a few paths they can take. Do you go into food or drinks, higher quality or higher quantity? Do you have stronger buffs on the food or more buffs on them? Ooh, that's a good idea. One food piece being able to have multiple buffs on it. I like that.
Yeah, that's what the Journeyman Foods kind of brought into play is... not really Journeyman, sorry. The Apprentice even brought some into play. You could either get... For instance, one was 49 attack power, or another one was 36 attack power, but like 24 crit. So you could kind of pick your poison there. If you have a crit build, that one might be much more worthwhile.
Shielde, did they say that they're actually going to do that? He said, wait till they squish all the recipes of each tier into a single recipe. The ability to swap materials to change the outcome. Instead of 3 to 5 apprentice sword recipes, it's one recipe with the ability to change the different materials. I don't know if that's a wish list item or if they've actually said that they're going to do that. Also, Sagan saying that the current crafting is a carbon copy of Final Fantasy XI's crafting system.
I don't remember 11's crafting system, to be honest.
Yeah. That was a plan they had. No idea if they'll still do it. I'll post a clip when they said it in Discord. Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. I would like to hear that from them because I don't remember them saying that, but I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I could have missed. Hello. Do you think Intrepid should break phase 3 into sub phases with more fresh start servers for major releases to bring back players? Well, hello, Ashes Moments. Welcome in, by the way. Love the stuff that you post. I think a lot of people have noticed that you've been posting really funny montages of like random bugs and funny encounters and things like that. So, love the content, by the way. And I don't know, Vertec, how about you take this one first?
Let's see. Break phase 3 into sub phases with more fresh start servers for major releases. I mean, I could see the benefit of it towards like farther down the line, but it would also depend on what they have on the long-term plan. Because if they were to say, make sure that they have everything introduced into the game in some state, like a year down the road, then sure, that'd be a pretty cool place to do a fresh start, adding some fresh start servers. Because hey, now that everything's introduced into the game, now you can jump in here while we polish everything and we add features to it and we tweak everything. But the base systems are all in now, so here now we'll add some fresh start servers. That'd be kind of cool. But I think at that point they would just announce. I would say just keep it phase 3 because it's been advertised like that for so long. But just say like make a big announcement like, hey, we're gonna add some fresh start servers because now we have everything in the game. So we're gonna have like the all features day is this day. All features are in. Now we're just adding sub features and polishing things.
You know, Vertec, we asked people when we first got here, and I think people were just so excited that we were here that they didn't really mention anything. But it looks like the two things that Shielde is bringing up are the Artisan Alpha 2 Artisan preview and the October development livestream update, which we missed. So with all of the hurricane stuff. So looks like I have a little bit of catching up to do. He provided the timestamp for where they talked about using different resources in place of others that changed the result. I really like that. And then here's another one where they're speaking about the region specific materials. Okay, cool. So I've got some homework to go do. Thank you for that. There's like only so much that we can keep up with, and some of the time, unfortunately, we were just without internet or power, a little bit of both. So thank you for that. And welcome in, Swedish. Congrats on becoming a patron of the Tavern. I hope you enjoy it here. And if you haven't already joined the Discord, if you're a subscriber, there's a subscriber only area, and Vertec is probably chuckling at himself because people in our Discord are taunting me by making things be like tied. For example, now Rogue and Bard are tied. I currently have an entire set of polls where you can help determine a character outcome, and I'm gonna try to make a little roleplay character out of it. So, yeah, chat's been taunting me a little bit. TV power is unstoppable. Fupo, hi, welcome in.
And a question for everybody out there, just so I know what to try to look for. Is everyone else hearing Chibi's mic do weird stuff with like volume and whatnot? Because I don't know if it's just me traveling or not, because these headphones and whatnot don't seem to play nice with me sometimes. I just want to make sure to know to look for something down the line, or if she sounds good. Okay. Because for me, it sounds like she's like peaking and then the volume will drop and go foggy and come back. So, okay. It's just me. Wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Seems fine. Have only been listening for a few minutes. No worries. I haven't heard it, but I have Coke and whiskey, so don't trust me.
Don't trust me. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Basil picked
why I ask.
A Butch Rogue. Yeah. The winning one was Dunir Rogue. Just saying. Now it could be a Dunir Rogue. It could be a Dunir Bard. Only you can decide. Okay. You have 4 days left. So for me,
every time Chibi puts up polls, there's always a race to keep it tied, more so than to make one win.
Yes. And I think it's like because they know that it like bothers me a little bit, not like enough to be like I'm mad at people, but like for example, for subscribers, I gave a list of 4 names since the Dunir is winning, and they're all tied for 2.
Yeah. So it's like there's a reason that I asked you people for help, because I need help deciding.
Yes.
Not making it
and
easy.
They're like, no.
By making it a further decision.
Yeah.
You've reduced the choices from 4 to 3. Thank you.
Or in this case, 4 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think Intrepid should break phase 3 into sub phases? I feel like they kind of will, because of the way that the progression of content being released is, in my opinion. I think that, they are planning every 6 weeks to drop something major and every 3 weeks to have something kind of in the middle, like a minor update versus a major update. But as much as I would say, absolutely, I think Intrepid should find a way to bring back players. It was said by Steven that he's not currently interested in keeping players in game at the moment. Right now, they're happy with the numbers that they're keeping steady with. And if more people come back, awesome. I mean, there's a lot of new people buying access to alpha almost weekly. It seems like I'm always seeing somebody else saying, hey, I just started, on Reddit and within the game and everything. And the other thing is, I think naturally things like the Rogue coming in, or more desert content, or the tropics content will bring back a surge of players because they want to play that. I know offhand at least 4 people that are waiting for Rogue. So I think that by naturally introducing these systems, people will come back as they do. But also, I mean, it's very much testing. They're looking for people to test, and the player interest is not of point for them at the moment. It's of interest, but not of point. And I think that that's something that they are working on. It's just making sure that it stays stable and everything works, so that way when they are ready for player retention, they have the stuff there. That's just what I'm thinking. Of course, you have to play a Dunir Rogue. I'm gonna try. We'll see.
You had to play a shorty either way.
Yeah. But, apparently I'm
shin slit, as opposed to like an ankle biter. Basil saying I'd make a Dunir Rogue named Stabitha Shin Slit. So, like
That's
ankle
funny.
biter. Let's see, just shin slit.
Shin slit sounds so
That's how tall she
painful.
is. Oh,
Yeah.
it does. It's like the shin splints when you run incorrectly, and then you just
Yeah.
walking or moving at all feels painful. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And then I was gonna say, I'm glad I didn't try to get the scorpion carcass processed, because they're apparently adding scorpion venom glands to scorpion skinning rewards. So, yeah, make that number 5 waiting for Rogue. Yes, you're waiting for Rogue too, Erwin.
Erwin completely missed my smart aleck remark. Because he commented the same thing 5 over in YouTube. I was like, Bouncer, that's the guy. Yeah, Erwin's his name. That's his face. Get him out of here.
Champion of the Hill. Woo! We got a Champion of the Hill again. All Scorpion stuffs. Eek! Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going on. They added seeds to farming vendors, and I'm curious what seeds those are. Are they poppy seeds? Are they... What kind of seeds? I'm super curious.
I would imagine for all the desert stuff, because I had most of, maybe all, but most of at least, all of the Riverland stuff at the farming vendor, so.
Basil says I better get a donut so I can win. Yeah. Could be just desert stuff. Sorry, I just found that funny. I think Basil's decided the donut's the winning champion for the weapons. I don't know. Sometimes we get the Sandal Lord, so.
Yeah. The foam finger makes its rounds every once in a while.
Yep. It'd be funny to see a frying pan though. Frying pan win.
Haven't seen a plunger in a minute.
Fair. Oh, Basil did win, but it wasn't with the donut. It was with the tea. I mean, I feel like Basil, that's very fitting for you, winning with some tea.
I was going to say, at least it fits with my mental aesthetics of a Basil.
Yeah. Yep. They... Tier 2 cooking vendors now offer spice rubs. I'm curious what that is. Is that something that you needed, but you didn't have access to for recipes?
The which one?
Spice rubs.
Spice rubs? No.
Apparently,
I think that's just introduced with the desert recipes specifically. There was a spice rub on a few the few recipes I saw on Ash's Codex, but I haven't seen in game yet.
Yeah, they're adding for PTR. Tier 2 cooking vendors now offer spice rubs.
Okay.
Let's see. Apparently poppies are meant to be gathered year round because there's a bug preventing them from being gathered year round. So that was interesting to me. They fixed a lot of the invisible trees because I'd run around in the desert and I'd suddenly see like a little dot on my screen. I'm like, oh, there's nothing here. But it's asking me to chop a tree.
The most important note on the patch notes, though.
Yeah.
Further removed lingering Christmas themed content from Vera.
Let me tell you.
Number one problem we're facing.
One of our guildmates was so mad that there was a Christmas tree in January.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Halfway through January, why is there a Christmas tree?
Why is this existing? Real quick, going back up, Sutsuma says, same with mine. We had to make a rule that you can't roll rogue until your main is over 400 power. I mean, that's fair, because there's a lot of people that might be like dropping rogue, dropping for rogue immediately. Yay, Christmas all year long.
Except the people who declared that they were going to be a rogue main. They declared they were going to be a rogue main before they started their whatever character. That's different, because you know they're going to probably try to do the best at rogue. So get that. I have a
feeling if I was going to do rogue main, but I'm not playing rogue right now, I'd probably play either bard or ranger and go for medium gear so that I can immediately give it to my rogue. That's what I would have done.
I mean, that's pretty decent. Because honestly, I heard people were having a decent time with tank by giving it full fighter gear.
That's
Full
crazy,
DPS gear is what they
Sutsuma.
went for.
Why would that be a disqualifier? Is it because you want everybody to play now?
Yeah.
But like I could play an alt.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, play whatever you're gonna play, so we can get used to what you're doing now. Maybe. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. Would I do it if I ran a guild? Possibly not. But I see the point in it.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to get our team comps and everything all set up and then have half of them dip to be a rogue.
Okay. I see. Rogue mage or mage rogue. I'm going for LeBlanc. Nice.
LeBlanc. Well, rogue mage actually sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a rogue with all its stealthy capabilities, doing little like sneaky maneuvers and, you know, subtlety rogue type actions, and then you also add blink to some of the stuff and
I see.
add some elemental powers.
Sutsuma just didn't want somebody to outrogue him. I'm teasing.
Imagine taking a rogue mage and adding some elemental augments to some of your skills. So you do a backstab out of stealth with poison and freezing, so that maybe they get frozen in place, and then just poison's ticking away, and you do a couple extra stabby stabs, and then you can blink away and then maybe vanish around a corner again.
Yeah.
Actually sounds kind of lethal. I like it.
Okay. Very fair, Sutsuma. Very fair. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure you just wanted to be one of the main rogues. But do you think rogues will just use bow like fighters do? I mean, I think anything is viable, but also we're supposed to be getting more weapon types. And High Priestess Moon says, I feel like with my name, I should probably be High Priest, so Cleric. But I think I want to try Summoner really bad. Well, you know what? Cleric Summoner, you could be a High Priest of creatures. Summoning creatures to do your bidding for heals.
Yeah. Absolutely. Heal my minions.
Yes. In my headspace, High Priest as a summoner, like a Cleric Summoner, would probably be just calling a bunch of Kitsuna foxes to do my healing for me, because I love Kiriko so much. I've only found one other summoner main who isn't going Necromancer. Oh, wait, yeah. Nah, Rogue Summoner just to become a hard target. Okay, I see it.
Actually, that'd be kind of cool. Like, if you... Rogue Summoner, yeah. So you go into stealth, but you actually summon like 2 copies of yourself, or a copy of yourself in that same spot as you vanish. That would be kind of neat.
Like Loki?
Yeah.
From Rivals?
Yeah, especially if somebody... Yeah, exactly. And especially if your copy were to lose all its hit points and it just falls over looking like a character when it dies. Oracle,
we're not talking about names of anything at the moment. We're just having fun with, like, pretend. He says, I thought Cleric Summoner was a shaman. Like, yeah, we're just having fun. We're not being serious about anything.
Yeah.
Basil says, if I was damaged, I'd play Summoner Pyrite and summon tree spirits. All the tree spirits. But yeah, so Sutsuma says like they already have people with over 350 power rogue sets without their weapons. Which
bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah,
because who knows what those dual daggers are gonna do.
Yeah.
Never.
Hello, super serious people.
We
Hello,
were
Never.
just talking about you yesterday, Never. We were just talking about you yesterday, and I told everybody that because someone said, hey, I have a stupid question, and they asked something, and I said, man, there's no stupid questions except for when Dante Afton, Ashes of Nerer, Guild Umbra, or I forget who else, I named a 4th name, ask questions. But that's also because they're trolling and we know that they're asking a dumb question on purpose. So
yep. I will after the stream. I try not to get too distracted. My focus is here with you guys. but I will after the fact. I mean, I'm not surprised. There's people that already have 450, 500 power on our server or higher. So not surprised by the least that that's capable without the weapon. So.
Oh, no. Yeah, that bow is nuts, by the way. Holy mackerel.
Vertec one looked. I'll look later.
Yeah, I had to. Oh my gosh. Hey, I tell you what, I'm gonna do this for the masses because we didn't want random, not random. Sorry, didn't want non-subscriber posting links, but I'm a subscriber.
It could be a random. That's why it's subscribers. But that, to be fair, also a subscriber could be random. But.
Well,
only noobs don't have 500 power by now.
A couple times
all right,
before,
Nair,
so
thanks.
It's not exactly like a full random.
No. I was just saying, even the random person could get subscriber, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Spellbook is my favorite weapon so far. That's what I use, pretty much.
It's from Discord.
Oh, damn.
Holy mackerel.
Crystallized blood. Wait.
That's a single bow.
How did you make that? That's a level 20 legendary, by the way.
Yeah, it's a level 20 legendary. Yeah.
How did you even make that?
Carfin. It's a recipe from Carfin. I didn't know it went that nuts though.
But I thought
that's bananas.
You guys must have the ability to make them on your server. I don't know if we have the ability to make them on ours, but
yeah, people can make level 20 stuff right now.
Well, yeah, 20 stuff. I just didn't know weapons specifically. But I guess you just need legendary wood and everything for that. So, fair. But yes, Spellbook is my favorite too. Yeah, we have 2 of them. Damn. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
what
in
the hell,
your
man?
inventory. Or in that inventory. Whoever's inventory that was, there's 2 of them right next to each other.
This is the part where you're just like, I'm leaving. Okay, bye. But there's...
Okay, bye.
There's legit, like, you will see me in a game, if I know that you have better gear than me and I don't even stand a chance, I won't even fight you. I don't even care anymore. I'm like, okay, you're gonna just kill me anyway. There's no reason for me to even try casting anything.
You see, honestly, you know what would be looking at this lifesteal rating here?
It's my point, Nair.
I think that is where lifesteal would actually start to become useful, is if somebody crafts a full set of Carfin gear as legendary or epic, then I could see lifesteal starting to actually be worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I could actually see that being a solid tank set. If you build tank as a DPS using lifesteal rating as part of its core.
I'm just saying. We're seeing how level 10 gear compares against drops in Carfin. That is legendary and enchanted. Now take Carfin drops that are legendary, and that absolutely 1000% fits exactly what I would expect from that. So oof. Yeah. But a cleric will out heal that easily. And no, no, not me. Maybe a different cleric, not this one. This one apparently is bad because even Vertex calling cleric easy. So I think I'm just bad at the game. That's okay though.
No, you're not bad at the game. I was saying cleric soloing I think is easy, but that's also compared to I've had to work my ass off to try to solo as a tank. Can you believe that? That sounds really weird, doesn't it? Trying to solo as a tank, I'm having difficulties fighting multiple things. That's so crazy.
Well, you just don't have damage. You're not a damage dealer. That's why, like, whenever people are like, man, why is this person not DPSing me? I'm like, you're not a damage dealer, dude. You're a tank. You're just like, roar, look at me.
Yeah, imagine taking twice as long to kill it, Basil. Imagine taking twice as long to kill it. That's how long it takes a cleric to kill it. Or not a tank to kill it. It takes twice as long for a tank to kill it. But
yeah, but it takes a cleric twice as long than a mage to kill something.
Well, I mean, a mage can erase a tank in like 4 seconds, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah. I build my tank for damage, honestly. I'll take one of those in spell damage, please. Right? Cleric still takes, because it's 6 gold per enchanting scroll, however much gold per enchant itself for the item, and it only adds 1 physical power, 1 dex, and 1 strength per enchant. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not spending 6 gold on that. I'm good. It was more than 6 gold to get that item in the first place. You know about getting the scrolls from Reputation Vendor? I've used 5 already. Yeah, but is that all? Yeah, apparently for Journeyman. Doesn't it add like 3 physical power?
No, it's 1 per enchantment. Yeah, they're selling those scrolls if you really want to buy them. And if you buy them with donated mats, I really wonder if it's going to be a wash, because you have to donate so much stuff to get those points. The mayor bucks.
You mean like the buy orders? When you say donated mats?
you have to
okay.
Yeah, you go to the buy orders and donate a bunch of mats, like whether it contributes to your like personal satisfaction of accomplishing something or not. You could totally fill in a ton of buy orders and get those mayor bucks and take it to the guy near the mayor's area and be like, I'd like some enchantment scrolls, please. I think I went like 280 per or something like that. I think I have enough to get like 3 of those.
It really depends on the node because it depends on what your mayor puts for the tickets amount, because the more tickets you add, the more costly it is for the node. But if that node is making a lot of money, they're probably able to put a bunch of tickets in there for that. So I don't know what other people's nodes are, because Massimo says not hard. Honestly, I made 1,000 plus of that currency in less than 5 hours. I've got 300.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give to them, but I don't have all the stuff, and then I struggle to find the other people for the other stuff.
Yeah, so that's the thing, Massimo, is the mayor, when they go to put out buy orders, they can decide how long it lasts and how many tickets you get per turn in, and something else about it. I forget. There was like 3 or 4 settings they can have when they put out a buy order. But definitely how long it lasts and how many tickets you get are directly influenced by the mayor. So whatever mayor of the town that you're in could absolutely be putting a high ticket price or a high mayor buck price on it, because they're pulling in so much money that they don't care. Just put out a lot of tickets, get people to turn it in quick.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
If you have the materials.
The problem is not many people know that the mayors can control what the buy orders pay you in tickets. So they just do whatever their home node lets them turn in, or they only want to like focus on promoting their own node stuff because they're, they want to be in the best node or whatever the case is.
Well, for me, I don't have half the materials. Some of it requires zinc and all this other stuff, and I don't have that much of that. Or like worse yet, willow. I'm like, okay, well, like I don't have any willow, so
sometimes it's a weird combination. Like you need zinc and largemouth bass. What the fuck are you making with zinc and largemouth bass? Don't ask questions, okay? We need it. But that'll have weird combinations.
That's why I would like the ability to give half of the resources. And I get people telling me, but Chibi, this is to promote conversing in cities and stuff, so that way you're helping your fellow man. And I'm like, I get that, but like I've asked in city chat, I've asked in global chat, things like that. I even offer to go 50-50, like, hey, if you have the other item that I don't have and I've got all the blue bell or the moon bell or whatever it is that it needs, I will split it with you. We can both profit, but I can't find any. So I would just like to be able to give my half that I can give, and then get maybe half the tickets for it. So if it's 10 tickets for the full thing, give me 5 per thing I'm giving, because at least then I can get something and I can still help the node, instead of it being like, well, I don't have any of whatever that is.
Yeah, it's a weird balance.
Yeah.
Oak and basalt and ash granite. Ash granite combo is crazy. That one's easy.
Yeah.
Oak and basalt, I mean, I don't know how common
that's also
oak
pretty
is
easy
necessarily in the world, like where exactly it is, but
it's all over
Miraleth. Okay, Miraleth. Okay, well that explains it, because I spent most of my time doing because I don't have gathering on my main really. I just do it by accident. So now that I'm doing gathering and my gatherer alt is over in New Ayla, all I'm seeing is ash everywhere.
Yeah, so New Ayla has all the ash and Miraleth has all the oak.
Okay.
But honestly, I think it also depends on what buy orders get put up. Because a lot of ours have copper and zinc in them and tin, or not tin, but some of the harder to get stuff. I wish I could see in the menu what each node is needing instead of having to travel to each. Yeah, because you can see your home node, but you can't see other people's stuff. So that's a good feedback piece too. Quality of life item. Clearly they're making those fish that hang on the wall and sing.
The Tower of Zara. Okay, I'm curious now. Please do share.
Oh man. I have 1 box of ash oak, granite and basalt. Oh.
Oh, the sand mama.
Gotcha. I want to get up there. You know, in the older videos, the sand was like dripping out of her hand. Like
it was in a really old video, actually. That's like 3-4 years old at this point.
Yeah, it was. I was just watching it for research purposes.
Yeah, she had her hand out and the sand was just like out of the back.
It does. It helps if you are in tune with what your mayor is doing. You can anticipate by orders coming out depending on... See, and that requires a lot more communication too.
Yeah. It also requires a mayor who is... Sorry, I was touched... The video that we have playing in the background, I really thought I had something on my screen because the... whatever video kept moving, and I thought there was something on my video screen, so I went to scratch it off, and no, it was Steven's name on his character. I don't know why that tricked me, but it did. But yeah, you have to also have a mayor that's trying to put stuff out for buy orders with enough gold to support a lot of tickets too.
For shame, Nair, for shame. I don't know why this is shaming you, but this is shaming you. I always just imagine 2 sticks being rubbed together to make like kindling, so I don't know why this is a shame move, but maybe somebody out there knows. I feel the shame. Good. Feel it. I'm curious if the sand falling will be an event trigger. Maybe that'll be an indicator that the area that you can't get to right there in front of him is open. That'd be cool. Isn't that sign language for shame? It could be. I just know that
maybe that's where it came from.
That could be where it came from. All I know is that it's something from when I was younger. People would do that.
Because it always accompanies a mom looking at you going...
Yeah. And I don't know why she did it. It was just like... I mean, there's the brat inside of me like, oh yeah, that scares me so badly.
Grating your finger?
I can do that too.
Like finger slices for dinner? What's happening here? You're weird, Mom. Stop.
But yeah, let's say a fighter goes fighter mage, will they still be choosing physical damage? Probably, because it's all you don't change your primary class. You're augmenting it with a secondary class.
So the question I have to answer that is, if you were to take a bat, let's call it a wood bat, and you were to put lighter fluid on it and light it on fire but get hit by it, would you take more damage from physical or elemental? Now, let's say that you took an inferno blasting out of an oven going like something you see on the movies when a fire explodes out a door, and you also add some wood chunks to it for the physical factor. Would you take more damage from elemental or physical? Because that's kind of the way it's like the fighter's augmenting with mage. So you're probably going to get like 100 physical damage for every like 20 tick damage with fire. That's how I'm envisioning it.
I think your question is backfiring. Tsutsuma's like, the dot would probably do more, TBH. And then Basil's like, I mean, if you caught on fire from that bat swing, it might do more damage.
I mean, that's fair too. Okay, so if you put a little bit of lighter fluid on the bat and caught it on fire.
If you put the bat in the freezer.
If you put the bat in the... So if a train left from Iwo Jima at X time, but another train left from Which one would arrive there first?
They might add elemental damage to the attacks of fighter mage. So yeah, but I think they're still doing physical though. That's the primary class is the point. Need dad jokes. You're fired as they fall down.
As they fall down. Yes.
Or the target is wet and you add electric damage. Yeah, see. But I could totally see something like that where, like it'll add some sort of, it depends on how they do it, right? Again, but if you look at like wand, right? Wand is already doing magic damage, but then you have the chance of also proccing fire. Same with book, magic damage, chance of proccing fire. I don't know of any physical that can proc elemental.
Well, yeah, an oracle that
in
I
terms
think
of
is
weapons.
so. If you're gonna make me get serious, and not do a joke that was supposed to be extreme and hilarious, and it was hilarious, okay, but no, so a fighter is probably always going to want to go physical, unless you literally build your entire everything around going with magic damage. And by what I mean by everything is literally everything, like all of your armor, all of your weaponry, all of your I'm still laughing. Okay, good, because it was hilarious. But I know you'd have to build everything around going magical damage as a fighter, because all of your stuff, I haven't used a fighter, but I know on a tank some stuff says physical damage for my skills, so it's literally just my auto attacks that would be doing magical damage if I geared everything for magical.
Yeah.
So in my mind, a fighter is always going to be physical damage, and adding mage as an augment would just add like elemental features to your attack. But we don't know how augments are working, so they might augment adding fire damage equal to X% of damage done, and that'll be the thing. In if you hover over your skills, you see the things in like purple for arcane and whatever for other kinds of damage. It'll say like damage done, and it'll be in the parentheses, and it literally means however you do the damage, you're going to get X% more of fire damage because you added the fire augmentation from the mage. That's my personal thought on how it's going to work. We'll see how that works, but
Sisuma said what I was trying to explain. Sisuma says the design is that the subclass augments and tweaks your main class, but you're still your main class, which is the point that I was also trying to make. And Yuzu Numero Uno says there's weapons and armor that add elements like fire and necrotic. Yes, I know. I'm saying I don't remember if any of them are physical that add the fire, for example. But I do know that there are definitely armor. Like I have the rings that have added fire damage. But it's just one of those, like, it would be cool to see if there was a physical ability, or physical, like a bow, for example, maybe that has like some sort of fire. I mean, after all, I can put my tip of my arrow into some alcohol and light it on fire, and congrats, you've got physical fire damage.
Physical fire damage.
So like I would like to see something like that, but Nair. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Thank you.
My blessed weapon causes fire damage. Yes, because we're magic, but we're also, it's like, I think holy fire almost. But yeah, and I mean, I like that because I thought it was gonna be more like radiant damage, but maybe it's
bless it with
fire.
The fire of your soul, the fire of your
purifying
convictions.
it. We're purifying it. The forge. They're forging.
And yeah, user numero uno. I like that it's also they're theming the dungeons already. Like Carfin, it's got a whole lot of rot around it, and a whole lot of ick, and a whole lot of nasty, and a whole lot of like zombies and such.
Yeah.
And they made it necrotic. And then there's the forge. I mean, what else do you have to say besides the forge?
Right.
And it's all fire themed, and I really dig that. Got your bat, Vertec. You're gonna bless the bat, fire, burning bat.
I love that they are also looking at the fast crafting menu can now display multiple results. What is the fast crafting menu?
I have no idea, but I really
want to know.
now.
But what's also like, what's multiple? Is it Is it like when I go up to the table and it shows me like if you make this, here's the thing that, you know, will come out of it? Do I get to then change the rarity to see what that would look like? Is that what you're referring to, or is there a different fast crafting that you're talking about here? That's what I'm asking, Basil, because the user interface as the fast crafting menu can now display multiple results. So very curious.
Well, for those who have access, the PTR is up now.
Is it
for
up?
Testing.
I thought that came down at 9.
Did it?
That's what I saw earlier.
Today they said it was up.
I don't know. They said it was up and it would be down at 9. I thought.
I don't know. Okay, hold on. Maybe.
As we both run over to look. Yeah, they've closed the PTR for today at 9:03.
Okay.
Thank you. I was right.
You're not crazy, but I'm not crazy because it was up earlier. Okay,
it was up earlier.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if you heard me, but I was like, I was going to try to do PTR things, but I got back in time for prepping for stream. I didn't get a chance to get in.
Oh, you know what it is? Because I've only had a few minutes here and there throughout the day to check it while I was working. I just read, hey, at everyone, PTR's unlocked. And that's all I did. I saw PTR's unlocked, and I said, cool, I'll check it out later. And I haven't gotten to check it out later. But
what's the desert dungeon theme then, other than sand? Well, sand is getting everywhere is annoying. It's got to be something else, I think. I don't know. It's a good question.
Beetles and fire. That's the theme. Beetles and fire and sand. I will admit this is mostly wishful thinking, but read the flavor text for this. Okay, so he linked Mukmaw's sword, and it says Mukmaw's favorite sword. His wife made this for him after they lost their 2 goblin babies to, wow, this is depressing, to the local bears. Mukmaw swore vengeance. He swore he would honor his 2 lost children by slaying every enemy in his path with this sword. Grants the wielder increased magical power and casting speed, which is funny because there's no magical power or casting speed. I feel like that should probably be on a great spell sword. Or who is Mukmaw? Your face. Who is Mukmaw? You know who Mukmaw is? Mukmaw is a level 3 creature that you can fight in the goblin area right outside of Lion's Hold. Okay. How accurate is goblin? How accurate are goblin stories usually? Huh? How accurate are goblin stories usually when compared to reality? I'd say pretty accurate. I play Weepy Goblins. I was pretty accurate. And by pretty accurate, you mean you blasted a giant cone of fire and you eventually hit your target if you twirled a little bit, right? That sounds like goblin accuracy to me. Sounds like magic. I spun around in a circle and they were dead. It was magic. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. See, too. Exactly my point. They never ask how accurate their stories are. No, the story just kind of changes to get grander and more amazing. So this is a very like, hi Paranoid. Swore vengeance and 2 whole lost children. It's like every enemy in his path. This sword grants increased magic power and casting speed, says the person passing down the sword, when actually it's just the biggest sword that does physical damage known to man. Yeah, see, when I spin frantically, I get dizzy. It's also magic. Yeah, fair. Paranot says the Hogger of Ashes. Am not. The Hogger of Ashes. Hello. Welcome in, Grumpy. Yeah, if you were to look at that sword on Ashes Codex and you change the rarity all the way to legendary, all you see is physical, strength, physical. There's no dex. There's no anything else besides
no
the
magical
word physical from top to bottom.
Nothing.
With like 2 strength hidden in the middle. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I feel like that should be a spell sword. If it's going to have magical power and casting speed. That sounds like a spell sword. I think it's just goblin interpretation. They're calling it increased magical power. And
I
casting
guess that'd be a
speed.
great question for Steven if we ever get him on again.
Yeah, I mean, we should add that to the list of when we get an intrepid person on next.
Yes.
So Mukma's favorite sword, right? Mukma's great sword. It has 7 stat increases on it. One of them is strength, everything else says physical. But the lore on it ends with grants the wielder increased magical power and casting speed. Is that from a goblin's point of view? Or was it supposed to have magic power and magic casting speed? Because from a goblin point of view, as long as you're crushing whatever you're supposed to crush, it could absolutely be magical.
True. Also, the other question I have is how accurate is the codex, right? If we actually pick this up, does it have the same flavor text as what the codex has? Because after all, just as a reminder, the codex is not from AshesofCreation. It's all data mined information. So it totally could be incorrect. So there's that too. Take it with a grain of salt. Just because it says that you should be able to get something doesn't mean you actually will be able to get something. Learned that one the hard way. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know I had one of those floating around at some point.
Yeah. Are there any other things? You know, I also found that like they apparently improved gem translucency, so I wonder if that means you'll be able to see through some of the rubies.
Yeah, I was curious if it was gonna be like in your bag or in the world.
Oh,
so in
yeah.
the world, you'll see a ruby sitting there, and instead of being a solid like blood red, it'll actually look like a gemstone now.
Yeah.
And not just a bloody rock.
You know, it'd be so cool with that though. If it's more translucent, it would be really cool if the sun hit it in a certain way and the ground had like a reddish hue because of the light going through it.
Okay. I can see that. I dig it.
I think that could be cool. Same with the emerald, where it's like a little bit more green, like a green hue on the ground. Maybe I'm asking for too much, but hey, look, I know that Unreal Engine has some really cool, unique capabilities with lighting. So it would be nice to see something kind of like that. But the biggest thing I think for me is the ability to see like the numbers a little bit clearer in your bag, because I usually move them out of my bag into like storage to see what actual number of things it is. Is it 6? Is it 8? I can't quite tell because the number is like obscured by whatever item. It's like a little bit hard to read for some reason.
Yeah.
But they also apparently updated visuals for some node buildings, and I'm super curious what that means. And they updated environment in the Sand Squall Desert, so I'm really curious to be like, he talked about how they have these sets of things that are meant for different buildings. Are we gonna start seeing some of these sets kind of begin making their way through some of these node buildings, or additionally throughout the environments? So like the Sand Squall Desert, are we going to see some more of these like Dunish ruins maybe from like bricks?
Maybe. All I know is one thing that we did not see. Yeah.
What did we not see?
We did not see that I was hoping to see.
Yes.
If you go up to archetypes and characters.
Okay.
No matter how hard you look at this list, you do not see that there was a change to grit. To revert it back.
Aw.
This makes me sad.
Sad tank noises.
Makes me sad. Yes.
But they did fix a bug with Cleric's Divine Power passive. Apparently, it was removed when you unlearned Divine Infusion. Somehow you lost your divine power. It's like, I'm not going to use Divine Infusion anymore. And it's like, you're not allowed to have divine power now. The god is rejecting you. But Massimo seems to also be sad.
Yeah, Sitsuma about to park yourself a blister. Sorry, I just read that. Here's to you.
What's that blister?
Blister is a fire guy that lives at Highwayman Hills with other fire things around it. So it's just a mess of, if you don't kill it fast enough, you're going to die because there's fire everywhere and the fire mobs are all, I'm convinced, At this point, I'm convinced that it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be that way because there's been so many bug fixes, and fixing all the pyros and the fire casters and the fire everythings have not ever been even mentioned as a known issue.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced fire-based mobs are supposed to absolutely cook you as soon as they see you, and that's guaranteed, like how it's supposed to happen.
I don't know if you can tank a fire mob with light armor. That's a good question. Yes, it's intentional, in my opinion. Okay.
I'm guessing it absolutely has to be, because there's been not one mention of it anywhere, but like, if you can take one fire mob and cook an entire party of adventurers who are over the level of the mob, but they all get cooked in like 2 skills, there's got to be something wrong with it. There has to be. There's no way that's intentional. I say, as I don't know if it's actually intentional, and if it is, I'm just gonna cry.
I mean, it's a little bit weird to have fire elementals in Highwayman Hills, in my opinion.
It's not even the fire elementals. I mean, fire elementals as well too, but I mean just the pyromancers in Bloom. Yeah, Steel Bloom.
Yeah.
Like those things. Those things, you know, we took an entire party up there. It was level like, I don't know, 16, 17, whatever. We were, I remember this, 2 levels above it and decently geared, and it cleared the entire party, including the tank and the mage. Opposite ends of the protection spectrum. One has all light armor, one has all heavy.
Yeah.
And a cleric and everything. I think the only person that survived was the bard, because they were like, nope, and they didn't get hit by the 2nd skill.
Yeah.
But 2 skills and the entire party was wiped. Like, done.
That's crazy. Going back to the tank conversation real quick. Ashes and Air says, I try to use grit, but I don't like it. Basically, the current iteration of grit just begs to have a macro push the button every 9 seconds. And then Massimo followed that up and said, if they at least doubled the grit duration, I'd probably be cool with it.
Yeah, agreed. It's just, you know, so they've stated the tank's main purpose, and the idea behind the archetype is to control the battlefield. How can you control the battlefield if you're too busy watching your cooldown bar? Because one of them, what is Vengeance cooldown? It's like 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Grit cooldown is like 8 or 10 seconds, one of those. And then there's another cooldown, and then there's another cooldown, and then there's another cooldown, and then there's, well, my chain might work, it might not. Who knows? I don't know.
Hi, Leon. Thank you so much for the cooldowns.
Because there's also the intercept. If you have your intercept on somebody who's vital to keep alive, and you want to pop it every cooldown, like you have to look down at that too, and that has I want to say it's like a 20-second or 30-second maybe cooldown. No, it's not 30 seconds. It's pretty short. It's like 15 or 20 seconds. So you got to keep an eye out on all those. So the only way to do it is to set one timer over here on the right that tells you, and by over here on the right, I mean on your cell phone sitting next to you, and it's going to keep beeping every X amount of seconds to keep hitting that stuff, because there's no way anybody's going to be able to keep track of all that without just spamming them as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is grab your mouse like this, 12 buttons, and I'm just going to do this as I tank. I'm going to take my thumb and just rub it over everything. As soon as it comes off cooldown, I'm hitting it, no matter what it is. Because it's the only way I'm going to be able to watch the battlefield and all my cooldowns at the same time. There's no controlling the flow of battle and watching a 10-second grit timer and a 6-second. I mean, those don't even line up. It's not even like 10 and 5. It's like 10 and 6.
Nara says, I started watching my skill bar much more instead of the fight.
Yeah, so you got to move that like right on top of your character, and you change the rows and columns so it stacks up, so it's like 2 by 4, so it literally covers your character. It's 2 wide and 4 tall, just sitting on top of your character model. Yeah.
Over on YouTube, user numero uno said it's hilarious that with the amount of times people died in pyros at Highwayman Hills, the dove said, you know what we're missing here? 2-star fire elementals.
Fire elementals. Yes, it's exactly what was missing. And see, that's why I say it absolutely has to be. It absolutely has to be intentional. If it's not intentional, then
What are you guys doing?
There's something wrong.
What are you doing? Why are there fire elementals here? What are you guys here? Why are you here? Shouldn't you be in the Befallen Forge? Why are you here?
Yeah, like they're absolutely insanely broken mobs. So if they're intentional, so be it. Avoid fire.
Yeah.
Anything with fire in the name or pyro in the name, just don't touch it. But if it's unintentional, that should have been the biggest like heat map mark in the entire map.
Oracle says it lines up every 30 seconds. And then Nara says, I thought they were event mobs, honestly, the fire elementals. And I mean, I could see having weak auras for the tank stuff, but I'd really rather not have to like settle into that. You know, I'd really rather it be able to be intuitive and fun and not like, how often do I hit this on cooldown? But I mean, there are stuff that I hit on cooldown too, so.
And honestly, Swedish Gen X has this right here. So I really do not like button smashing games instead of more tactical choices.
Yeah.
That's how I think that tank should operate in general. Like tank feels like one of those that should be very much like, I'm doing your average stuff, but then there should be a like move, and it should feel very impactful, but it should have a long cooldown.
Wait.
Plenty of those.
What kind of move? What kind of move?
But there should be a lot of large cooldown, like very impactful things. And then there should be some stuff that's like a little bit of medium effort, but there shouldn't be a lot of like minor effort kind of helps. And it's on like a 5-second cooldown. That doesn't feel very tanky. That feels very rogue. That feels very like damage class. That doesn't feel very tank. Like tank should be very much like I'm influencing the effing battle here. Yeah. And you know what's also messed up? So check this out. If I, as a tank, have 59% or 61% physical damage mitigation, and I add grit that says 10% damage mitigation, I don't go to 71 damage mitigation. I go to 66. I get 10% of my current mitigation. That doesn't feel very rawr. It doesn't feel very impactful. It feels kind of like, I'm adding a thing, I guess. That adding 20%, that sounds kind of cool. I'd rather that for 10 seconds as a 30-second cooldown if I didn't have to like engage it every 10 seconds or something. I don't know, like however the math is done. Like I'd rather have a longer cooldown with a longer duration. Literally double them both and I'll be fine with it. But just having to watch it for every, because at that point to really keep, because you can get 2 stacks of it, so you'd have to watch them every 5 seconds. You'd need to re-engage to make sure you always have one ready. Every 5 seconds you're clicking a button on clockwork. Set a timer.
Yeah.
Set a timer.
Nara says, so a crappy tank with 30% mitigation only gets plus 3%.
Yeah. But crappy tank, that would have to be a naked tank almost to only have 10% to start with. But yeah, I get the point. Like that's basically it.
Nara says also
30% mitigation. Okay, yeah, I see.
Nara says also, I vaguely remember a PTR event in phase 1 or even before involving those elementals and a name boss. And I was going to say, you know what? Maybe that means that event, because you know how we were there on our alts the other day and it was like event nearby. And we looked around and we're like, where's the event? I don't see an event.
What are you talking about?
Maybe that was it, but it was broken maybe. And we just didn't know it was broken, so we didn't report it because they were just there. But if that's actually supposed to be an event and they're just hanging out there and nobody is reporting it because we're like, I don't know if these are supposed to exist here.
Yeah, just, something happening.
Yeah, exactly. There's something about Highwayman Hills. If you get too close to that area, it's like a magnet that pulls you into some crazy, dangerous mob. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That
and Steel Bloom. I go to Steel Bloom very rarely because I almost said very often. That was almost a mistake. I think the last time I've been there is about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I really want to go back. There's a lot of really good gear there, but I can't get it.
There is, but those pyros are stupid.
Yeah. That's why I
think
can't
the
get it.
last time
Nobody
we
wants to
actually
go
went
there.
was like level 22 or 23. We're like, let's try it again. We're almost to 25. We've got to do better. Nope, the whole group wipes.
Yep.
In hell.
Yep.
Pull one pyro, a whole group of 23s wipes. How does this happen?
Yeah.
We've got level 20 gear. How does this happen?
I think they're just super overtuned at the moment. Pyros and the oculars need a nerf. Yes, oculars just murder you. I don't even know what kind of damage those. It's just ocular damage. They just murder you.
Ocular damage. It is a damage type. It is a damage type.
I'm just gonna call it that.
When I'm looking through my tank, I see physical damage defense. I see magic damage resistance, and I see ocular damage resistance.
Yeah, see, it's a thing. It's a thing.
It's physical, magical, and ocular.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I think my favorite though are that they're gonna add more variety of poppies, and that they're offering to have the raid frame option for overlay for the party frames. And I think that's really nice because there's a lot of people that were like running in raids because we preferred the raid frames over the party frames. So
you know, it would have been one of my favorites is if they said that when you open your map by pressing the M key, that you can see all of your party and raid members on the map.
Yeah.
That would have been one of my favorites.
That'd be neat. It would have been. But yeah, I think there's a lot more here. But some of them are not super, like, they're like, okay, you know, cool. But these are the kind of the more notable ones for us. You can still do that. You just have to toggle their visibility.
That doesn't work for me. I've gone in there, and you know what it shows me? Out of 40 people in the raid, it will show me 4 arrows on the entire map. If I click it and I click it and I click it, and then I move the map and I click it and click it and click it, I'll see like 4 to maybe 7 other people on the entire map. So I'm thinking that doing that literally changes your party members when you're in a raid, but when you're in a party, I don't know why, but it still doesn't exactly show everybody every time. It doesn't always work.
My theory on it is that you're only seeing the people within your squad, which is why I only see 4 to maybe 7 others, because it's 8 to a squad. Yeah.
I mean, that might be why I don't always see everybody on the raid view.
That's my theory, but apparently Setsuma sees all of them, so I could be wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, because I thought the same thing. Like, there's the button you can push, and it disappears people and reappears them. But I'm in a raid of 40 people, and nobody is nearby me. Well, people are nearby me, but the map doesn't show anybody nearby me at all.
Yeah.
And what I am is I'm zoomed in to the point where on the map, like, you know, when you zoom out too far, it doesn't show any arrows. I'm zoomed in to the point where it starts showing people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to zoom in one more click, and I try to change the view party people anyway, and it doesn't show party people. Nobody's partying near me, apparently, at all. No parties near me whatsoever. But then when I'm in a party, for the most part, it'll show everybody. Every once in a while, though, I'll find that it doesn't show the entire party. I'll have, you know, a full party, and it'll show 2 people nearby me, right next to me. If I zoom in all the way, it'll show 2 people next to me.
No, that is a jellyfish. It's not a Medusa. Jellyfish. It's a rock jellyfish.
Glimmering geode, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something geode. It's a rock monster.
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome to the tavern. Appreciate the follow. Honestly, I think that there's, you know, part of me is like, should I do this? This is kind of dramatic. Vladis is live streaming.
What's happening here?
Vladis is live streaming right now, and he's doing AshesofCreation chat and chill as well. And part of me wants to see if we could just merge for a little bit, because he's asking about people's issues with Alpha 2.
Want to raid over there and start blowing up his chat?
Sure, we could do that. I was meaning trying to get him into the VC, but we could do that.
Oh, yeah, we can do that too. Yeah, we could do that too. I'm open either way. I mean, I know you got work. I have an audit for work in the morning, but it looks like they're gonna delay it. Unfortunately, like another day. I don't know why, but either way, they're going to delay it because of the snow outside. So I don't have to get up as early as I thought I did. I can hang out a little bit later.
And sorry, we only speak English here, so I have no idea what that says. It looks like good morning according to Google Translate. So good morning.
I was just gonna ask Google what that meant.
Yep. My Alpha 2 issues are that the enemy guilds keep disbanding. Oh my gosh. More beer. Oh man. Let me see.
That sounds like a terrible issue to have. Come join Lineth. Okay? Just saying. You're in Envious? Yeah?
I think so. Sorry, I'm trying to reach out to Vladis.
I had a giant brain question mark in my head. All right, well, while you figure out if we're going to raid Vladis or if Vladis is going to be vacuumed into our Discord and we have a two-show conversation, I really need to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. It's morning over there in Europe. Very nice. We actually talked about that today, about the guilds disbanding.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So Beacon does not mute my mic. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, nope. Beacon does not mute my mic. Okay. I'm going to pretend that when I go across the hotel room, you will not hear me going potty. I'll be back.
Well, why don't you just mute in Zoom, you dork?
I mean, I could do that, but now you're asking for me to do easy mode. What the hell? All right, I'll be back.
Okay. Re-rolling into Lineth. Okay. Erwin says, didn't Envious disband? I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that, you know, there's a lot of things with Alpha 2 so far that are interesting and crazy. I mean, just the other day I was running a caravan and our guildie's caravan ended up being transformed in the water, and then it just somehow skyrocketed itself across the entire map. We couldn't figure out where it was to even recover it. Turns out when it was like south of like Mirleth, like where the ocean area is, it suddenly became north of both Mirleth and Winstead in the black zone where you can't even get to. And that was unfortunate. We are on Lineth, Swedish. Let me see. I can grab this. Well, I might be grabbing a Vladis. So I'm just gonna send him the link to the chat if he wants to join us. And I'll pull him in. Oh, thank you, Swedish. Yes, come be a part of the Discord. Oh, there's a Vladis. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I saw you chatting Ashes and I was like, we're chatting Ashes. He's chatting Ashes. Maybe we can chat Ashes together.
I know. What's going on?
What's going on with you? Vertex traveling, so he's AFK at the moment, but he'll be right back.
Damn. Oh, okay. Well, dang, like it's been a minute, man. How have you guys been?
We've been doing pretty well. We're finally getting settled and we've been back live streaming for about a month and we've been playing Ashes. We were surprised that our internet was even handling Ashes at one point.
Oh wow.
That's a Vladis I hear. What?
That's a Vladis.
That is, dude. Vertec, it's so good to hear your voice, brother. How you been?
I haven't heard your voice in chat, like in actual chat, for like 3-4 months, 5 months
I know.
almost. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's been too long, brother. It's been too long.
Yeah. Everyone be
well,
chatting
we're done
Ashes.
with the
Everyone
flood
be
stuff.
chatting Ashes. Yes.
That's true. I mean, we just
Flood
watched a
stuff is done
video.
with, so
Yeah, we just watched a video from Flanker. It was his honest review of of Ashes of Creation so far. It was a really, really good video.
Yeah.
And you know, there's just a lot of people right now, like we were kind of talking about gauging the water a little bit, about people's burning out, people not being able to handle just testing Ashes of Creation in general. There's just been a lot of that. I've talked to a lot of guilds. I've seen a lot of people. The drop off has been real. But it doesn't feel like it in game though, for some reason. Like I still see people like constantly in the game, like passing by, whizzing by, doing stuff. Like it's really, really crazy. So
you know what it is?
What?
A lot of it's content creator stuff, and a lot of it's I mean, I don't use this word in a disrespectful way, but like super normie. Like the content creators are in there all the time because they're trying to create content, and so some of them are getting burnt out and moving back to different games because they've tested all the stuff they want to test. The shine has worn off. The shine has worn off to some of their audience, and now they need to keep the shine going on their channel, so they're dipping out.
Yeah.
The super normies are like, okay, cool. I tested the like 3 things I wanted to see, and everything else is a pain because now people are starting to focus more on the politics and the inter-node and inter-guild combat and like things that are happening, like alliances that are developing and aggressions that are developing because of those alliances. And they're like, and now I'm getting into stuff that I don't really like, so I'll be back later.
Yeah.
And now it's dipping down to like what I haven't done actual numbers because Intrepid hasn't actually released actual numbers. But I think it's dipping down to the population you would expect to see on a normal server with population spread across the whole map.
Yeah.
So it feels light because it was super overpopulated at the beginning of this phase. Super overpopulated. Like we crunched the numbers. I think with 6,000 people, with the number of the size it was, it ended up being as if Intrepid was aiming for 50,000 people to be on, like, max people on a full live realm. That's what the population was. If you did the math and you expanded it out to the full launch size of the map, it would have been the equivalent of about 50,000 people capacity.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So now that it's dropped down to about a quarter, it's almost to where the live like max capacity is supposed to be, like the 8 to 10,000 that they're talking about. It was at launch. It was closer to 50,000.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of talk within the community about possibly even converging into one server with the people that are left over.
At launch. Sorry, at phase 2. At phase 2 beginning, not at launch. I said at launch. But...
Launch of phase 2, I think, is what you were intending.
At the beginning of phase 2, it was closer to 50 or 60,000, I think, even because we didn't have the extra 3 nodes down in the desert. So maybe closer to 60,000. So that's like 6 times the population that we were expected to have as the max capacity of concurrent players.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. I mean, I've been noticing on my gathering routes that I'm able to actually find gatherables again, because before I couldn't find a bluebell to save my freaking life. And now I can find them, and I'm like, well, but it doesn't feel like it because I still see people engaging in PvP. I still see people doing all this stuff, but I think you have these people that are like the hardcore sweaties that are, you know, I've seen, you know, I saw a video yesterday from Zyback where, you know, some of the people in Dopamine were playing 17 hours a day, like every day that the test was live. And I'm like, that's insane. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, I have a family, you know, I have my kids, I have my wife and stuff like that. Like, I can't, there's no way. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us in our position, you know, most people in the Ashes community, I would say are like 35 and up on average, right? Average, right? There's some younger people, there's some youngins here, but for the most part, we're all within that particular age bracket. And so it's a little wild to me that that's the case, you know, for some of these people. But then we have certain guilds that have been disbanding. There's been a lot of guild turmoil. Oh my God. If I can only tell you the drama that I have heard from guilds right now. It's ridiculous.
I have a question for you that I've really wanted to ask somebody, especially who does content creation, because a lot of us are doing more deep examination of what's going on inside the servers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Without naming names or incidents or whatever, have you had anything happen on your server that really tested your out of game relationship with another person, be it content creator or not? Like legitimately you were like, I really need to pretend that I'm okay with this person. I really need to pretend that I'm okay with this person, but then maybe it faded after a day or two after the incident happened. But you at that moment were like, I really need to make sure that I talk okay to this person.
Okay, okay. For me personally, no.
Okay.
For me personally, no. I have not encountered a person or another content creator or even a guild really. Like what's really crazy. So on my server, I was given a wish by Steven. And I am the only person on my server with a graveyard golem as a mount. Okay.
Nice.
And so I've been pretty known on the virus server. It's like when they see a graveyard golem, it's like, oh, there's Vladis going along over there. You know, but and that's really cool. Like I think that's been a really cool thing. But for the most part, I've actually had a couple of people that have been in very degenerate, like their guild tag has been very degenerate guild names that will PvP people to no end. And I was harvesting a mineral and they said, it's because you're you that you're not dead right now. And they'll just run away from me. Like they'll let me gather they'll let me gather the thing and being like, you know, and I've had people too come up to me and be like, hey, I really like your content. Just want to say, you know, your golem looks sick, you know, and I'll let you gather that mine. And they'll just they'll leave me alone. Like and for me, maybe it's a little bit of streamer privilege. I don't know, but you know, and those are people in my guild or in not my guild, but in my server that come from guilds that wouldn't even hesitate to flag up and kill somebody for no reason. And so I find that to be a little bit wild on my end, because it's not saying that I'm wanting to, like, if you want to kill me or if you want a resource, like, cool. Like you know, and there's been one time, and I remember telling Burns, it was from Dopamine. I was going to get an adult copper mine back when copper was super rare. And I was literally in the middle of harvesting it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get a charge and then bash. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, who's this? And it was a tank from Dopamine. And as soon as I stopped harvesting the copper, he just said, my copper. And then I was like, all right, dude, you want the, because I was like level 13 and he was already level 25. So I was like, all right, dude, it's yours. Take it.
Yours.
Like,
okay.
Real quick, Massimo from our chat says, I think there's too much skill gap in most enticing parts of the game. Caravans, high level mounts, best gear spots, and resources. Nodes are all dominated by big guilds and exploiters. It's very demotivating for normies trying to break into that content. And I can absolutely understand that. I mean, we've had people that within our guild like to try to sleep people over nodes because somebody did it to them and they just think it's really funny. And the rest of us are like, man, that's mean. Like, why you gotta do that to them? But there's we've definitely had some tensions rise a little bit recently with some of the other guilds that we are friendly with. And like, also we've had people on and we're going to be having people on that are in game we're rivals with. So it's one of those like keeping it, this is really putting to the test the whole keeping things in the game
yeah, because we're trying to keep Golden Feather Tavern like a neutral territory, especially when it comes to like in game. We want the tavern, we want to have a freehold or two, you know, maybe we'll franchise to both of us having one, who knows. But
got you.
Like we want the tavern to be a very neutral territory type of place. So the tavern as a podcast has always been that. And yeah, one person or more that we're gonna have in the future, who knows, is definitely gonna be spicy for those who are on our server. But
I was gonna tell you, Vertec, I have heard of alliances that have been getting very bitter lately. And I'm not going to mention names, but I've had a couple of people from the guilds message me about certain bits of drama, certain things of the GM in charge, certain things of tensions from certain little clique groups against other clique groups from the other bit of the alliance that has been, you know, just going at it at each other. And there hasn't been any kind of we've told you guys that we're friendly, but you're still people killing us. There's still people, you know. And it's like I said, dude, this is a game where if you want to be a rabid dog or a pack of rabid dogs, that shit comes with consequences. Because at the end of the day, even though you think you're king shit, this is a game that's going to be won with diplomacy. And if you are going to have a reputation for not being able to control your people, there's not going to be anyone that's going to be willing to alliance with you in the future, or it's going to get harder for people to be alliance with you. And once they know you're problematic and all you are is just an anchor in the alliance, it's going to be very hard for you to operate in the future. It just is.
Yeah.
This game proves it already.
Yeah.
You
But
need
by the
people.
same token, there's also two other factors to that. One of them is that being the nice guy will also get you in a lot of trouble, because that will get to be known and people start to take advantage of that too.
Being a doormat? Absolutely. Like I said, diplomacy isn't just being a good guy. You have to be clear, and your leadership has to be like, it's like at a job, right? Like you don't want to be so nice at a job, especially if you are like a manager or a supervisor. I mean, Vertec, you're a lead at your job. You can't be Mr. Nice Guy all the time, right? Like you got to lay down the law. And I think that's what people are kind of missing, is there's certain people that are going too far in the direction of being a dick, right? And being like, I'm a leader, like you're going to listen to us, like you need us more than we need you. Like that's not going to go very far either. So you need to find a very good middle ground, right? Like you got to be like, hey, we can swing like, you know, our digital, you know, dicks whenever we want around the server. But if we want to help you to an extent, like we got to see where you are viable at, right? And there's been a lot of worse guild than you. And so that's why we're allianced right now, you know? So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting once the actual politics go into the game. And then also where some of these big guilds are going to go, because right now we're all kind of just jumbled together. Could you imagine if Pirates and Nexus was all on Vira too? Holy shit, it'd be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, there are some that would mix up stir up the pot a lot more so than Nexus would.
Yeah, 100%.
To be honest, even Pirates, to be honest, would stir it up just theoretically. Which, that's the crazy thing. Like, Pirates is the largest guild that I know of on either server. But they have had the least amount of drama associated with them of any guild above, like,
the least
40 people or 30 people. Yeah, there's, like, no drama associated with them on Lineth.
I think the biggest drama related to Pirates is Pirates versus Fed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Federation.
Federation is its own separate drama soup anyway. So there's that. Federation is Lineth's toxic guild. And that's not even a secret, so I won't really bother putting it out there. Like everybody says that, so you know.
Yeah.
But just saying, like Pirates has had the least amount of like actual toxic activities when it comes to what the general populace would say. We talked to a bunch of random people because I play around on some alts and I hang out with people and I see what they say and I listen to things. Nexus apparently, there are some people, and this is not me talking, this is somebody else. Like apparently we've been compared on both good and bad sides of the spectrum. So there's that.
To be fair, people thought we were a Zerg guild or like a massive guild. And I'm like, we have
30 people on, like during an event, like, hey guys, let's gather and do something. We have 30 people online.
Yeah.
But yeah, pirates they haven't had like a dramatic splash in any direction, good, bad, or like indifferent. Like they've been just like your average player for the most part. Like they just exist and they do stuff, and occasionally there's a lot of them doing stuff. There hasn't been like a Zerg mentality of let's get all, I don't know, 20 guilds together and go like take a wave swipe over the entire map. Like that hasn't happened.
Right.
All the worries about them have just not come to fruition.
From what I've heard, Fed has taken the majority of the stuff. So I don't know. I would love to talk to Church, because Church is still the GM of Federation, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I have
as far as I know.
We're gonna be having him on our show at some point in the near future as well.
Yeah.
And
it's always interesting. Like, go ahead.
So this is the thing about like Federation also is like they have taken the major swipe at a lot of stuff, but their anthem, and I don't feel bad saying this as like a derogatory thing because it's really not supposed to be derogatory. Like their leadership and their recruiting people will blast this on the loudest speakers from the tallest church top. When
pun intended.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like winning is the game. Anything to win, like winning is the game for them. Like if you win, you're in the right. If you win, you are the best. If you win, that's the only thing people are going to remember is winning. Winning is everything. Yeah. Anything to win.
Right.
And that's exactly what they're there for, is winning, no matter what, any cost. Winning is the goal.
And I think that comes like with certain things, right? Because there's also a line in like how far is too far. And I understand that when it comes to testing, testing within the limits of the game is where people usually try to fall in. But there's also these very competitive guilds that try to tiptoe that line of, well, what is really an exploit and what's really a dupe, and will we get caught, and is it too extensive? And we've had a lot of that times in phase 1 when that happened. People got deleted. We had in phase 2, people got to level 1 again, and people didn't want to log into those characters because they were kind of like ashamed of logging into those characters. So it to me, it's just like, to me at the end of the day, it's still a test. Swinging, like, I'm not gonna say the analogy again, but just saying being dominant on the server of a test isn't proving anything in my mind. Right. At least to me as a player, because we are still lacking so many systems. And again, you can be a great player, or you can have a good organizational skill to put players in a certain position and make them succeed, and that's fine, right? Mm-hmm. But I also understand too, this is kind of like a training. I talked to another GM on Vira, and that's what he's treating this whole test as, is a training for himself and for his guild, right? So they're going as hard as they can to see what are they lacking, what do they need to improve on, what is the things that we need to succeed. And I get that. Like, I totally understand that from a leadership perspective, from an organizational perspective, because this is just testing, right? But this is still the game. This is still us learning actively Ashes of Creation. So I completely get that. But I just think there's sometimes where there's just this level of, by any means necessary, we need to be the best guild, we need to have the most stuff, and then that's when all the degenerate stuff and all of the PvP and you know how it goes, Vertec. It's just
Well, see, the thing is though, like the thing I brought up, because at one point, I'm not going to name like a time frame or what phase or what guild or anything, but I will at least say that there was at least one point where there was something occurring that had a win condition, and there was one of the participants was exploiting to secure said win condition. And in the meantime, somebody was telling them like, hey, by the way, that's not intended behavior. And they were like, and then what are you talking about? It's just, and they throw out statements like, well, someone could always stop me. Someone could always do this. Someone could always do that. Are you sure? Because, nothing's really going to happen anyway. And it's like, you're totally disregarding the fact that like that was the stated the stated intent of this system and the stated design is not this. Somebody just told you that a couple times, like multiple people, and you're still just ignoring that. How is that? Like, how do you see the justification in your eyes to just be like, I don't effing care? In an alpha, like, it's not even the real game. You're not even really like trying to gain any permanent benefits. You're just trying to legitimately exploit an alpha to win.
So there are permanent repercussions. So even though we're in a very temporary situation of a testing period, these diplomatic situations that guilds or guild leaders find themselves in is a very permanent thing. Because once you start operating as a GM, or your guild is known for operating in a certain way, the people that are currently testing Ashes as a guild, or those GMs that stick with it the entire time, aren't gonna forget the shenanigans you pulled in phase 1 and in phase 2, or even in phase 3. So those have permanent consequences. And if you ever land on a... Or go ahead, Chibri.
Massimo in our chat was saying it's a small community in reality. Actions taken even now in alpha will have consequences going into the real phases, to your point.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Do you truly want to be the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors? Like, because it's like, what are you sacrificing by doing that? Right. And I think if you want to operate that way to prove some kind of dominance, it's a very short-term gain reward, because at the end of the day, you're going to need alliances and you're going to need other guilds in the future once this game actually does go live to have your back. And if the way you're conducting yourself is in a way that is disrespectful or just it's just shitty behavior, you know what I mean? It's scummy. You know, would you want... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Continue. I'll ask after you're done. No.
I was finished. I mean, just like, would you ever want to be associated with something like that? Like, if you're a good person, if you're a good GM, you have a good leadership skill, why would you want to be alliance with a guild like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, right. Spicy question for you now, then. Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my perception, Ashes really is being designed and currently also operates in this is a PvP game with a lacquer of PvE and a little bit of crafting kind of tossed in to flavor it up. It's very much a PvP based game, right? And what are PvP games known for? They are known for dominate no matter what, rule the world, rule this, destroy that, take this, it's mine, this is my land, this is my property, this is my area, this is my zone, this is mine. Very much like destroy the competition. So maybe that might be the overall goal. Like, they don't care what their opinion is from anybody in alpha. Maybe those types of guilds are literally working on the long term. Like, they want to attract that type of player in the long term. That way, this is also when it goes live, they can say, like, don't get yourselves banned, but winning is everything. If you're not with us, you're against us, and we take everything. Join us, or assimilate or die, basically.
So can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
Does Just Pirates have any alliances with any other guild?
I have no idea.
As far as I know, no. I haven't seen them in group. Like, I haven't seen them grouping up to protect anybody specifically. I haven't seen anybody grouping
they've grouped up to help us against Fed a couple of times.
There's literally that.
There's their enemy, at least, but I don't know about an alliance.
They've declared one enemy.
According to chat over here, Erwin is saying they have a co-op with the dark side.
Well, that proves my point then.
I don't know who that is, so I'm sorry, Dark Side.
Dark Side, Dark Side, Darksiders, the Darksidist, or something like that. I think it is.
Yeah.
My point is, even big guilds still need alliances. You can't. If you think you're going to operate just based off of numbers, the game, like Ashes, isn't going to operate like that. You can have all the numbers in the world, but you still need cooperation from other people. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. And because of that, you're going to fail. And so as a PvP player, as someone who wants to, or if you want to dominate the game, you're already failing. Like, I'm
Right.
just being straight up honest, but you're failing already. Like, diplomacy is a huge aspect of this game, and if you fail at that, PvP, you're done.
Real quick, Vertec, before you answer, I want to add in Umbras from our chat says pirates are playing the game to test the systems, not dominate and control the server, which is pointless in this phase of the game, which I agree with. I do think like trying to dominate the game is a little bit pointless.
Yeah, exactly. Domination and control right now is pointless. They need to get numbers back. They need to get feedback, and they need to get like actual information back to fix everything that is broken and to create new systems and to develop new stuff that is going to benefit everything going forward. Everything is so bare bones right now. They're really looking for stability and operability testing right now, not like dominating a server. Like, what's that going to matter when phase 3 is over, or when phase 3 starts if they do all bragging rights, start servers, right? But I mean, like in a slight response to, I mean, Yokai said what Vertec is saying, 100% the mindset of larger guilds right now, in your chat there. But in response to what you're saying, like, no guild can do it alone. But that's why alliances are made. And if you're not going to be in, let's say I name my guild the best guild ever. If you're not going to be in the best guild ever, then you're going to be with our alliance with the other guild over there, the second best guild sometimes. That's our alliance right there. You don't believe in our direct approach to the game. They have a slightly different approach, but they're still going to dominate stuff because they're with us.
Yeah.
Like, so be it. Like, we have an alliance, and you know why? Because not everybody's going to agree with this guild leader, this guild officer, this guild prospectus to the future, but they might agree with this next other guild that we have an alliance with, and they're also all about that PvP or die life. And so we're going to ally with them.
Here's the thing that I've noticed with those PvP or die guilds. The kind of player that the very, very competitive PvP guilds, those players are very hard to wrangle, and they're very hard to keep tame, because those players want to be bulldogs. They want to PvP. They want to do the things that, like, again, we're watching Zabak's video yesterday, and he was saying that he really hated the alliance that he had within his guild, which was Dopamine at the time, with Nova Ordum, because he wanted a more temporary alliance where we're only allianced whenever this thing happens. But when that thing isn't happening, I can kill you, you can kill us, like, it's whatever. Because again, I don't know
like
if
a non-aggression pact.
Sort of.
Like for right now, like non-aggression for now type of thing.
But I think ultimately there's going to be certain things that PvPers are going to have to get used to in a game like Ashes, because at the end of the day, like, diplomacy is its own game. Like, I've set this game as Game of Thrones. It really freaking is. Like, the amount of back end talks that you have to have and trying to orchestrate nodes, buildings, and believe me, they tried in Vera and failed spectacularly, because everybody just wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to do what was best for the guild and not best for the node, and some people that got him to being mayor just didn't care about the node at all. They just let it rot, up until they had to do something, basically. And I think that all is going to play into the diplomacy thing. Is yes, we're a very PvP focused guild, but this game is not a PvP game. It is a PvX game, and that X represents not just PvE, not just PvP, but there's also a whole combat you do in Discord. When you have these talks with other GMs, right? There's the kind of tango you PvP. Do. PvP. It's a lot, you know what I mean? And I think there hasn't there's not a lot of players that have ever dealt with systems like this. And I think a lot of the people that come from theme park games or other games that they've never had these kind of interactions with these kind of systems are very green, because they think, oh, I don't need a guild. Like, we can probably do everything ourselves. Yeah, we have like 200 members. We can take over Riverlands. Like, we can do it. Like, they don't know. They're very naive in the sense where they think they can just be dominant and that's enough. And they're going to be very sadly mistaken, because the game is much more than just brute force.
It depends on the size. to be honest. If you get a large guild that, like, let's say pirates. If pirates had a completely different outlook and they weren't focused on actually testing, if they were focused on realm domination, Lyneth would be that server. It would be that server that people are talking about the drama happening on and the craziness happening on, because pirates could have, had they wanted, they could have taken over the server. They could have. They could have forced everybody out of everything. They could have owned Steelbloom and Carfin. When the Fallen Forge came out, they could have also owned that. They could have also owned the raptors and the crocodiles and the... Think of every desired resource they could have owned, except for stuff that's spread across the map like copper, because copper is everywhere. But as soon as a copper node became known as being, there's a legendary spawn here, that would have been in their server. It would have been mapped out for the day. And there would have been 3 people from Pirates making sure that Pirates got that node. Guaranteed. But they didn't take that approach. But they had the size and they had the potential to actually do that. But they didn't do that. And Wizard, in our chat, Wizard saying that Pirates attempted a coup on Mirrorleth early on. They didn't win the vote. Early on, it depends on how early, because the Pirates thing was a quick burst at first, and then it slowed down, and then it just kept growing at the constant steady pace, whereas every other guild had a very, very small trickle. So Pirates grew very large, very fast compared to other guilds, but it was a giant growth at first because a lot of people jumped in, and then it continued the same like percentage base across the spectrum as every other guild experienced. Right. But at this point right now, they have you cannot go anywhere without seeing a Pirate's name still. Like there's almost nowhere you can go without seeing Pirates.
Or like, at least one of
insane.
Them. Because
any corner of the map, anywhere.
The offside of that is, when you get into such a large guild like that, I don't know how large your guild is, Vladis, but when you get large enough, you eventually have people that are left on the outskirts that are essentially a part of the guild technically, but are still solo playing because the main part of the guild is already clicked over here kind of thing. Right. And so it's like, okay, well, I joined them because they seemed cool and I think they're cool, but also I can't play with them because I'm siloed away from the main group. And I mean, I've seen so many large guilds, even in World of Warcraft, that had that problem. So I've always been drawn to more like moderate sized guilds for that reason, because I still have a place. I still know people.
Yeah, I mean, Yokai was saying on this point, where their allies that are more long-term PvPers are more used to diplomacy than you've given them credit for. This isn't their first rodeo, Arcage, Lineage, Eve, Albion. And I do agree. I'm not saying that there's, I'm not trying to make a blanket statement, but I guess what I am referring to are these PvP guilds that are all bulldogish, that come from these theme park MMOs that don't truly know the diplomacy that Ashes requires. So they're bullying themselves throughout this phase or throughout this testing period, and they're going to learn really quickly that I can't keep this up long term. I'm going to burn all the bridges within this community. And now there's documentation. Even if they go to another server, if other guilds are smart enough, they're going to reach out and be like, well, how was their etiquette like during the test? Like how was this guild known as? You know what I mean? And if they have a bad reputation, no, for sure. But I think some of these PvP guilds have a little too much bulldogness. And I think that's where it's really hard, because if you have a very competitive natured mindseted guild, they want a PvP. They don't want to be leashed. They want to be unleashed. I want to if I want a PvP when I want a PvP, and you say that we have an alliance with 2 or 3 other guilds, I don't give a shit. If I see them, I'm gonna PvP. And that's gonna create problems.
To add to that, because I was talking to Sitsuma in our chat, I was like, I wish we had more people to kind of just naturally fight against that were more of an even, because it feels like everybody needs to bring everybody else to a fight. But I wish there was more like even-footed fighting so I can enjoy some really good PvP that way. And Tsutsuma said it's a fine line to manage. Even as a PvP guild, have to have the fun PvP content without overwhelming other guilds and making them think that we actually hate them or trying to grief them. And I think that's a fair line if you care about that. Some guilds don't care about that. They just want to win everything. They're just there to run in, smack you, and leave. And that's all they care about. They won.
True.
No wizard. I didn't get my book made. It's still broken. But somebody else, also Massimo, says some of the issues are for devs to fix and not for guilds to compete at. Speaking to fixed resource nodes, I think the devs intend to eventually make spawns way more dynamic and region-based instead of being fixed points. Because that's also kind of a problem. Hello, Gavin. Welcome in.
I was going to ask y'all both, like, what has been the biggest pain point that you guys have been like dealing with when playing Ashes of Creation? Does it have to be PvP related, just in general? Like, because I know right now they've been doing a lot of the weekly feedback updates, you know, to do your
I like reading through those.
Oh, me too. I've read through all of them. All of them. I've been my own Vacnar and Roshan and just been going through them myself. So I'm just curious, like, what's been like a big pain point for you guys?
For tech?
Give me a bug.
Tank being nerfed.
Right. Give me a bug first and then give me an improvement.
Okay. So, emotionally, I want to say caravans. Emotionally, I want to say caravans.
He lost a couple of them.
I've completed 4 and I've lost 5.
They've been bricked? Like you bricked them?
One way or another.
Like 2, well,
I've heard.
Of them... Yeah. Well, of them, I lost 2 when I turned them in, and at the node I turned them in, they disappeared completely. They were just gone. A third one was another bug with the guild caravan system. 2 of them were lost to, I'm not going to name guilds, but there was a certain guild pairing that on
was
the
it Nexus?
You guys might be.
It was Nexus, wasn't it?
We are Nexus,
yes,
man.
We attacked our own guild. We attacked our own.
That's why I said that guild name.
But no, there was a certain guild pairing that destroyed 2 of them out of the 5. The other 3 were lost to bugs. So they've, I think, from what I've seen and heard, the bugs I lost mine to have been fixed. So yay. But yeah, that's been emotionally, I want to say that's it, because at this point I'm like, I don't run caravans anymore because I lose more than I gain. I've lost money running 9 caravans. I've lost money.
Yeah. Caravans still need a lot of work, man. A lot of work. What about you, Chivery?
But aside from that, like, if I were to actually talk, because I think you were talking about actual like serious like things.
I mean, that's a serious one in my head. I mean, caravans is a huge. There's so many bugs within related in that.
Because each of those caravans, I burned like a purple and a blue. Every one of them, a purple and a blue was gone.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's and the one of them that I finished was not a purple and a blue because it was one of my early tests. So there's that. But outside of that, I would say, the tank changes. Defining the balance. All right. So tank was in a decent place before. It was really in a decent place. The only change that really required was a little bit more self-sustain so that if we did need to solo content for a while because nobody was on that could do the same thing we're looking to try to do, we can kind of hold our own to do something. And fighting something of equal level, of somewhat equatable gearing, let's say, because I didn't have anything enchanted, but I had all level 20 gear, I should have been able to handle a no star, right? Like, I should be able to handle like a couple no stars, like what, 4 no stars in one group? I should be able to pull them, right? And
like
be able
of
to
your
say,
level?
like, of my own level, like of 25, level 25, no stars. I should be able to handle like even 3. Like, that doesn't happen with a tank. You just don't. I will pull 5 or 6 like level 17s and I will be, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die. This sucks. Why? But yet I'll be on a cleric at a level 15, and I can pull of my own level, no stars, I can pull 10 of them and not even think that I might be near, almost possibly kind of being in danger. Not even of dying, but just in danger. Like I never go below half health, and they all die. And in half the time it takes a tank to kill them, all at the same time.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. Absolute lunacy.
I've heard of the whole like grit change. Now, mind you, I am not a tank main. I have no idea. You're talking foreign talk when you start listing all the abilities that tanks have. Like, 'cause I don't play tank, but apparently grit was like a passive, basically. Like you just had grit on and you just got more mitigation, more of this, more of that. And now it's more of an active. That's where I was
kind of going with it. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with my complaint. My complaint at the time was we just need more self-sustain, because I don't feel like a tank right now. I
more
feel like
physical self-sustain, or just overall?
Overall, like give me some more
even magic
to like shield from damage. Give me myself a chance to like live longer, because I don't feel like a tank right now. I really don't.
In PvP or in PvP?
All of the above. All of the above.
Everything.
Especially PvP. Like in PvE, I can feel like a tank because I'll have some super clerics like in my group keeping me alive.
Right.
Hello, Chibi. When she's not focusing on being a damage dealer.
Look, there was two clerics. There was two clerics. There's no reason I shouldn't also be able to do some DPS.
That's right. Should be a paladin, dude. Let her be a paladin.
But yeah, like I should feel like a tank, right? Like a damage dealer can feel like a damage dealer because mages and rangers and everybody is doing damage. Is like, I'm seeing 2,000 crits, I'm seeing 2,500 crits, I'm seeing 2,700 crits, and I'm like, I see a 700 crit at my best day. I'm seeing that when I pull 3 creatures of our level or less that are 2 or 3 stars, I am basically almost dying before the cleric like emergency heals me, and then just starts pumping heals into me like constantly. So without a group, tanks are absolutely garbage. But with the new changes, it's even worse, because tanks are supposed to control the battlefield, right? That's their stated purpose. Right. Tanks control the battlefield. They are to like CC and like drop like denial zones and this and that and the other. They're supposed to control the battlefield. How am I supposed to control the battlefield when I have 3 small under 20-second cooldown abilities that I need to keep on cooldown? Like, so there's grit that turned from a passive, and then sorry, just to finish explaining the grit thing that you asked about. That might help explain like what you're about to ask. But like with grit, it went from a passive that you turned it on and it existed, it did a thing, and it stayed there until you turned it off. And what it did is it gave you 10% of your mitigation. It bumped up to 10% mitigation, and it also gave you like double the threat. I think it was. It changed it to a 10-second cooldown that gives you 15. Okay, so here's what it was. 15% mitigation. Yes, 15% mitigation, but with your courage going from 0 to 100, it would give you up to 10% negation to the damage penalty, which was 25%, but you could drop it down to 15%, I think is what it was. Trying to straighten it out of my mind because it's been a minute since I used the last grit. No, it was 10% damage mitigation. I was right the first time. 15%, 25% damage outbound reduction. So you would gain a 15% damage reduction inbound, 25% damage reduction outbound. If you had full courage at 100%, it would reduce 10% of your damage outbound reduction. So either way, it was kind of a wash. You got like 10% and 15%, and it was great. Cool. I'm a tank. I feel like a tank. I do shit damage, and I get damage reduction. Well, then it changed to you get no threat increase, but you do get 10% damage reduction per stack. You have up to 2 stacks, but it's on a 10-second cooldown. And so you can get up to 20% mitigation, but you also need to keep track of every 5 seconds you need to hit grit. And it doesn't change your threat, which means that having an off tank is trickier, because now the off tank can't hit their damage buttons because their damage buttons cause the same threat that the main tank does.
So, I mean, because you play WoW, Vertec. I mean, when I play Protection Paladin, my active mitigation, it only lasts like 6 seconds. Like I have to keep track as a tank if I'm playing Prop Paladin, like of that particular, I have to keep my active mitigation up.
Okay. So you know what Prop Paladin is? Prop Paladin is the current situation with Ash's tank. And I'm holding this in my screen for a purpose. The current situation, last I played Prop Paladin in WoW was, I'm going to tank. I'm tanking. The only thing you do is you point your mouse and you click on things, and you hit tab to tab target. But you hit all the buttons, whatever's on cooldown, you're hitting it, and that's giving you mitigation.
Right.
But there's a positive to that one, because every button you push gives you mitigation. But you also have, don't you have you have something, Prep Paladin has something that gives you extra threat output.
Right.
That you can turn off to not get extra threat output. So that's the big change to Grit that I'm upset with, is that now there's no easy distinction between main tank and off tank. You can't hit a button that says, I get more threat and less damage with this. Every tank ever to the history of man in any game that I've played has something that gives you extra threat and less something, either survivability or like threat or damage. Usually is what the trade-off is, because you don't want a tank to say, I want to take more damage, but also I can't take as much damage. I want to take more damage, but I can't give as much damage.
Drazzard on his YouTube is saying Grit used to be cool. You could toggle it on or off to do an old school WoW warrior dance type of thing to get more DPS between big attacks, since you had lower DPS when it was on, but higher mitigation.
Yeah, you could almost stance
I'm not a
with
tank,
it too,
so
if you
I'm
wanted to
still
get
learning
really
all
crazy
this.
with it. Yeah, you absolutely turn it off, do your big damage skills, and turn it right back on, and can like blast out your intimidating aura to do a lot of threat, and then turn it back off to do your big damage skills, and turn it back on again to do your intimidation aura. And that could totally be a tank thing. Absolutely, 100%. But there's less complexity when it comes to the big, over the long term things with tank. And individual skills feel less impactful, because adding with Grit, you take 20% mitigation. You think that's huge, right? You're going to go from 50% to 70% mitigation. That's crazy. No. You go from 50% to 60% with both of them running at the same time. Each of them with a 10-second cooldown on a separate cooldown. Not same time. Like you add one stack, and then when it gets down to 2 seconds, you hit it again, and it becomes 10 seconds with a 2 stack. No. If you hit it now, and then you hit it when this stack gets to 2 seconds, you now have 2 stacks at 2 seconds. When that 2 seconds clicks by, you now have 1 stack.
Interesting.
At least that's how it began. I think it might be different now. No, it might be different now.
So it's changing a lot, basically.
It basically went from a more free flowing rotation.
It feels weird
to now being
Let's just put it that way.
In a very tight window that then limits your other abilities. And don't even get me started probably on the basic attacks. Like, how does that even work into, you know what I mean? I have my own issues with the basic attack combo system, but I don't even know how you would even finagle that in a tank rotation if your window's already so tight enough as it is.
Yeah. Massimo says it's just not really worth the click, basically.
Yeah, and so I'm being a little bit dramatic with stuff to a point, but it's really just like, it's so complicated. things are crazy, man. Like Vengeance is actually the one that does the stack goes on and then it falls off. That is the cooldown where it adds a shield. If you have a shield and it lasts a certain amount of time, let's say you're trying to jump around and avoid taking damage. Yeah. You could have that shield, and after I can't remember the cooldown on it. It's like super short. It's probably like 8 seconds or something. But after the 8 seconds, the shield goes away, even if you don't take damage to knock it out. Well,
as a tank, I was going to ask real quick. Can you just not, if you don't want the shield gameplay, can you just have like wield like a two-handed sword, or like
the
use
shield
whatever?
thing is a whole other story. Like that's a whole other story. So you have block
It's all-
mitigation on your shield, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you have block mitigation, like percent. That is your passive block. Like you might block something that comes in passively, but if you're wearing a shield, it might be like 3% block chance, something like that. If you hold up your shield and you do nothing, so you're not gaining threat, you're not doing damage, you're just blocking, it's 100%, but it reduces your stamina. But you're still going to get like 30% block mitigation. So you block like 30% of the damage coming in. If you do nothing else, so you're not gaining threat, you're not doing damage. So that's a whole other beast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like they tune
Like
block
a whole
mitigation. Yeah, block mitigation is actually a whole separate beast, man. If you want to take advantage of having a shield, you need to use the shield, which means you're not doing anything else. And if they change grit to not generating extra threat, and you have an off tank, let's say you're in a raid, your off tank needs to either sleep on the side and just protect people, and that's all they do. Because if they do damaging abilities and they do, if they cast a taunt, which by the way, if your off tank casts a taunt, it reduces the threat to you as the main tank. It's a good thing. By 30%, the damage is reduced. But now that grit doesn't add residual threat to your abilities, if the off tank taunts and you are trying to actively shield block to reduce damage to you, they might actually pull the threat off of you. So you kind of don't actively block as a main tank in a raid.
Wow.
You used to be able to. Now, like, you either tell your off tank to not do damage abilities so they don't build threat, or they pull all their main like threat inducing abilities off.
That's weird.
Yeah, and that's why that one change to grit messed up the entire mechanics of like everything. And to be honest, like at this point, my view of how a tank should feel is every ability that I push should either be like a parry, not necessarily mechanically like a parry, but like how it feels to do a parry. Like it's a very kind of impactful, but a quick thing that you can kind of recover from and maybe do again here in a minute, as long as you can pay attention to it. Or it should be like an all-out, like, roar move where you're like, I'm standing my ground, right? Where it's a long cooldown, high impact move that definitely has an impact on battle. It impacts how you feel. It impacts like the damage you're taking or the damage somebody else is taking, or it really like zones something out like wall. Like the wall is a very impactful ability. If it's placed correctly, that is a very impactful ability. That's why it has a 1 minute cooldown.
Right.
But we should have, in my mind, a bunch of abilities like that are a high impact. It feels good. You feel the impact of it. Grit, I don't feel the impact at all right now. And it's a 10 sec. I gotta blast it every 5 seconds to keep both stacks up at all times. I have to do it every 5 seconds to keep it up.
It's kind of unfortunate that the actual active block, right? The key that you put for blocking, like for me as a fighter, if I'm a two-handed sword and I hit the block button, like it takes stamina or whatever, but I don't have a shield, but I'm using my sword to shield myself. Like there should be some, and this is why I think shields need to have its own talent tree for tanks specifically. For everyone else, it's just like a stat stick, but for tanks, I think they actually need a talent tree. And I also think that when you don't have a shield equipped, then there needs to be something for the tank specifically that makes the active block button a better ability for tanks. Because I think it's kind of unfortunate that it seems right now that if you don't have a shield, you're kind of doing it wrong. But what if you don't like shield gameplay? What if that's not what you want to do? If we can have every weapon available to us, but we have to, even as a ranger, I don't need to have a short bow. I can literally play with a wand or a spell book if I wanted to, and I still shoot arrows. So why does the tank need to have a shield? You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? That actually plays exactly into what Sitsuma in our chat was saying. Tanks right now are just better fighters. They're bruisers, not tanks.
That's wild.
That plays into somebody in another guild, they were saying that they geared out their tank like a fighter. They put in basically, instead of looking for constitution and dexterity, they were looking for strength, and everything else was secondary. They built it like a fighter DPS. Yeah. And they were putting out, I was watching them and I was like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, there was tanks like 2 or 3 shotting people. Yeah, they were putting out so much more damage than I was. It was crazy. Granted, their health pool was maybe not half of mine. They're probably like 70% of mine.
Yeah. Because you're going, what, Constitution, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm going Constitution mitigation. Like your standard move, like this is a tank that's going to have predictable damage incoming and a predictable health pool. That means like there's not going to be a surprise to a healer trying to keep you alive.
Yeah.
But they were fighting like in PvE, they were fighting the same monster I was, and it was like night and day. Like, holy shit. It's night and day when it comes to PvE solo, at least. But it's a whole separate gear set. Like a whole entire separate gear set.
Yeah. I mean, tanks have
be switched out.
Tanks have a lot of, I mean, I think healers too. I think healers have a lot to fix with their kits as well. I mean, these are the 2 classes that I've been, you know, even before Ashes came out, I remember telling you guys, like, the 2 classes that I've been the most nervous about was tanks and clerics, because in every MMO, those are the 2 classes that you always are in, that you're looking for. But in WoW, in Final Fantasy, and other MMOs, you have 5 or 6 different tanks to choose in the starting in your character starter. You have 5 or 6 different healers that you can choose. In Ashes, you have 1. That's it. You want a tank? You pick tank. You want to heal? You pick cleric. And do you want to know how many healer mains that I know of that play Ashes of Creation and don't actually heal on the cleric? Because it's boring. It's completely boring. And they're actually playing a bard. They're having more fun as a support bard than they are as a cleric. And again, there's so much they need to do with the cleric, and there's so much they need to do with the tank, because other games offer a lot of variety right at the character creator. And I understand that there is a 64 class system. I understand that you can choose a secondary augment at level 25, which we all know how long it takes to level to 25. And to tell a new person, oh, well, I know you want to play a dodge tank, but you're going to meet the rogue as your secondary augment. And so you basically have to level from 1 to 25 in a very crappy way that you're not going to like. And then at 25, you can start to then augment your abilities in the way that you want. I just don't think that that's the way people are going to be satisfied with. I think a lot of people, you're going to have a lot less tanks and a lot less clerics in a genre where that's already an issue. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think the class fantasy needs to be hitting a little bit harder on those, because I think like Bard feels amazing because I've played Bard. Cleric feels, I mean, it feels very healer, but it doesn't feel to me enough healer, maybe. Like, I don't know if that sounds right, but it just, again, I'm only level like 15, right? So I only have a little bit of experience with it, and not even like max, quote unquote, max level for current experience. So I'm not closer to that ideal. And I know some classes in many games don't really develop until like 3/4 of the way to the initial launch max level. So in theory, that's going to end up being like level 34 or 35 or something like that. So it's still a little ways down the way. But like I feel like it could be a little bit more healery, like actually require more buttons to be pushed, and they interact with each other. Like have some more combo heals. Like if this hot is healing for a minuscule amount, but it boosts another main heal, like that's a reason to actually be more active. Like sprinkle these dots across the whole entire party at all times, because if I need to heal, I need to drop this button, and it's going to heal, you know, a 70% more if I have that hot going. So absolutely sprinkle everybody with these hots. And then this one other heal is going to do a bigger boost if I need to. If I don't need to, well, then I'm just doing my maintenance as a healer to sprinkle everybody.
So there's a person in your chat that says hopefully the subclasses really help the cleric and the tank. And I think what really needs to help the cleric and the tank is not the subclasses, it's the talent tree itself. It's your base customization. I'd
like to see more, at least.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I made the suggestion to Planendorf, and I made the suggestion to other devs that at level 1, instead of just getting a like starter ability, for more of the cleric and the tank and the bard, you need to have a choice of 5 abilities. You can only choose one of the 5. You can never have all 5, just one of the 5 that are very defining abilities. You talk about the wall, right? Think about that in the sense of combat. If you want to be a dodge tank, then there should be an active ability that makes you dodge more often. If you want to be a health siphoning tank, if you want to think of any fantasy of tank and have that sprinkled throughout the 5 abilities. So that way at level 1, you can choose, oh wow, like this is sort of like a Death Knight, I'm going to choose this ability. Or, oh, as the cleric, like this makes me more Mistweaver, like almost like a I have to be like a melee paladin kind of healer. Cool, that's what I want. That's the fantasy I want. Do that at level 1, and then have the talent tree and the passives complement that one ability. So when you say what build are you using, you can say, oh, I'm using the judgment build because all of my abilities are all based off of judgment. You know what I mean? Or, oh, I'm playing this, this tank ability where all of my abilities kind of get based off of this ability. And then you can have the secondary augment them even further in that direction. You know what I'm saying? But that's in my little fantasy head of what I would want, because again, I just think it's going to be a very hard sell to certain main healers. Like these are main healers from other MMOs where they play Ashes and they're like, this isn't the healing I like at all.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Very generic is what people tell me.
Yeah, being one of those people who only play healers in like every game that I play, I think that, there's definitely a lot more to be desired being as a cleric main and everything. I had a lot of fun with White Mage. I had a lot of fun with Scholar and Druid and Holy Priest and things like that. And there felt like there was a lot of options, and I know we're only level 25, but I'm wondering, are we getting more skills to choose from, or is there, is this it? And it's just augmenting now.
No, this is not it. This is not it anywhere close to being it. I mean, Steven said that we were going to have 30 to 40 abilities for each base archetype, and passives to go with that. That's going to be a talent tree that consists of over 60 nodes minimum, which I hope there's more personally. It's going to be a lot, you know what I mean? But, right now it's just these growing pains of understanding where the direction is. Yeah. Because I don't know where the direction's going to lead, but I hope it leads to a broader. My fear is that they're placing so much hope in the augment system. And I think doing that could actually, and for the hardcore dedicated Ashes people, I think that'll be okay. But try to sell that to someone at level 1 and tell them you have to play this one way until you hit level 25. That's a hard sell. Like, I don't know. Like I've talked to them. I've talked to these people that there are certain people that have tried all the archetypes of Ashes and they only like one archetype. None of the archetypes tickle their fancy. So if this one archetype ever becomes dull, well, there's no ult for them because they don't like the other archetypes. That's a hard sell, man. Like, and my fear is that people are going to drop off due to the lack of complexity. And not even really lack of complexity, just the lack of variety, really. And that's because where the 64 class opens up is at level 25. But then it's like, if you're a casual player, well, you have to hit level 25 first. So it's like in MMO terms, they're like, well, how long is that? Like a day or two? No, for you it'll probably be like 2 or 3 weeks. Like if you go hard. I mean, it just depends. Like it depends on how efficient they are at leveling. Do they squirrel a lot? You know what I mean? Do they do other things, or are they going to be forced to do PvE grind every single day, which could also be like very turned off-ish. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm just saying, like, there's just so much worry I have for this system. Like, I just want it to be good.
Yeah. I think
Well,
for my
hopefully-
answer,
Oh, sorry. I talked for a while there, Chibi. It's totally your turn. I talked for a long while there.
I think for my answer on what my issue with Alpha 2, and it's hard to say that because I don't really have an issue with Alpha 2. But if I could bring an issue that exists within Alpha 2, it would probably be something along the not really being clear or having a clear understanding, rather, of what rarity percentages means. Because I went out of my way to build an epic. I pushed for this sickle for 2 weeks. I went out of my way. I got everything for it. I built it. I was like, okay, now I have the epic apprentice herbalism sickle. Now I should be able to get more higher rarity. And I'm not even caring about only getting legendary. I just want at least heroic and up, more of them. And I still, for the first 100 flowers that I picked, had predominantly commons at like a 300 plus rarity rating sickle. And the huge problem that limited that was, as a lot of people have been talking about, the fat is limiting the, now with coming up to, I forget what we were talking about, but the coal is limiting. And so it's one of those things where I was only able to get my hands on like a heroic fat by the luck of my level 4 hunting a random wolf, and I somehow got a heroic wolf from it. And that was my like, oh my gosh. So then I thought that I was able to get all of these things, and oh my gosh, we're getting raided. Hello raiders, welcome in. Hi Dusty. That was when I was like, okay, well, if I get this heroic thing, I can get legendary and everything else, right? Wrong. When you make weapon slates, it has to be the same rarity across the board. And I didn't realize that going into it. So yeah.
That was a huge thing that I've been seeing for processing is, and I said this, I don't know why that exists, especially when the crafting system already you can have different levels of rarity. It's not a big issue. So why is it an issue at the processing level? It makes no sense.
Yeah,
I don't really understand it.
That would be my piece of feedback. Like, could you please unlock the rarity, mandatory rarity for making like weapon molds? Please let there be combined rarities on there.
Yeah,
I should just
that's a big thing.
For processing. I mean, it doesn't need to just be at weapon molds or armor molds. It just why limit it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have these rules for crafting, just have them the same for processing. But I think rarity in general is just kind of moot in this point. Because of I'm a sickle person as well. I've been herbing. I'm a level 30 herbalist, and
sorry.
Wait, what happened?
I don't mean to interrupt you, Vlad. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello, Dusty.
Right, Vlad is like Golem. Oh my God, Dusty.
Oh
dude.
my God.
I was just gonna say Dusty.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
No, it's been a while.
brother.
Don't make me tomato again. Come on, you guys.
Hello.
Top right guy speaking, but show a pre-recorded clip of playing back on a loop, or is someone else talking? No,
Make her snort. Make her laugh and snort.
We've got Vladis. Vladis is talking. We saw Vladis streaming and talking about Ashes of Creation, asking people what their issues with Alpha 2 is. And so I'm going to also do a shout out over to Vladis again. But I decided to reach out to him and see if he was game to pop into a VC with us. And we're just kind of combining our streams at the moment, just chit-chatting. It's a sexual thing. I get it now. Oh my God.
Drogue. Oh my God. I haven't seen Drogue in a while. I hope he's doing good. What's up, brother? Good to see you, dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what were you folks up to there, Dusty? I saw you were on. Honestly, we're normally not really streaming this long on our Tavern Talk, so I figured we were gonna end up raiding back over to you like 2 hours ago. But we got hooked and we've been chatting and we've been talking.
Nice.
And then
chatted.
we got Vladis to join us in chat. So we have been just continuing on far longer than we normally do.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
Vladis is
Fiora,
fun to
it's
talk
crazy.
to.
Oh, we love us some Vladis. We love us some
Yeah.
Vladis.
Aw,
Which
appreciate
just
it.
to add to my thing, Lamina in your chat, Vladis said, how about the permanent equip on tools? Would love to unequip it. And honestly, I thought you could. It'd be fine if you can't trade them. But I was like, okay, well, if this high rarity thing doesn't work out, let me make a high quality or quantity, a high quantity one, so that I could at
Mhm.
least be able to swap back and forth. Wrong. It
Right.
replaces your tool. And I was just like, oh, okay. More Ashes
mean,
content, best Ashes, yeah. Feel.
In my
Rarity
opinion,
versus quantity. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want them to get rid of rarity on tools in general, like across the board.
Why?
Get rid of, because that's what everyone's going to go for. Like rarity is too powerful a stat. Like if it doesn't have rarity on it, it's useless. And I want rarity to come from your certification level. I think if it was baked into your certification level and everybody had the same rarity across the board, or even if there was some delineation in the talent tree, because there is going to be a gathering talent tree eventually. But I just think having rarity on tools is too powerful. Having rarity on skivvies and your shirts and your tool belts is too powerful. And right now, rarity is just a problem in general because you need so much rarity to even get to the next threshold to hit uncommons or rare. So it's, to me, it's just kind of a dumb stat anyway. And it's going to have so much focus. And because it's going to have so much focus, it's going to provide so much frustration for players. Just add RNG based nodes, get rid of static rarity, get rid of people spawn camping nodes for 2 to 4 hours for 12-hour shifts. Get rid of all that, and I think we'll be fine.
So you're saying take the rarity off of the tools and put it in like a skill tree. Let me spec into more rarity or more quantity.
Either do that or just make the rarity happen more often with the higher certification level you are. So if you want to be a grandmaster herbalist, then you have the most rarity because you are a grandmaster herbalist. You know, I wouldn't mind something like that either. All I'm saying is I think adding it to the shirts and to the different things, you're just going to discount anything that doesn't have it. And it's just going to make it a terrible system, in my opinion. I'd rather just add another stat to it, like get rid of rarity, add another stat to it that isn't based off of rarity, but just something else, and we'll just play with that. I think adding quantity is good, speed is good. You know, I don't know what else they could add to it other than rarity, but I mean, I don't know. I don't like it personally.
I didn't really notice speed doing anything, but maybe I didn't get high enough speed. Okay.
You can jack up speed. So there's people like 2-tapping small mining nodes. Just click, boom. Yeah, you can get enough speed to make it matter.
Okay, so they fixed that. Speed is awesome. Like, when we first started it, they didn't really have it. Protect.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I like the rarity thing in case you're really trying to focus rarity. Like there's people saying that they have trouble hitting like legendary on Braidwood, for example, or Willow even. They're trying to get some legendary Willow for this caravan or whatever, or even for, I mean, the crazy thing about Ashes crafting is it's so interwoven. You need wood to make good cloth gear, which is kind of wild. Like I've never seen a game do that, but you need boards to wrap like the sheets of cloth around to make good dresses or robes rather. But it's like, it's so interwoven and it's crazy. And to be able to say like, you know what, I don't care if I get many things, I would rather it be higher rarity. So I'm gonna wear an axe that gives me higher rarity willow, and then I'm going to also wear a higher rarity shirt that gives me higher threads from the plants that I'm trying to make cloth out of. And then also I'm going to wear a higher rarity total outfit to make a higher rarity robe out of the cloth that I got with the higher rarity wood and everything. So I can
ask you a
totally
question?
see that, like stacking rarities. Yeah.
So
I suppose.
do you feel that legendary is common like legendary is like oh crap, that's a legendary something right there.
I
Like
mean,
how
if you
in your
ask,
perception.
if you
Oh, go
ask
ahead.
me,
Legendary is legendary.
yeah, I mean, but if you ask me, like I doing herbalism, I mean, there's a person in our chat that has the complete opposite story, but I don't really like camp nodes or anything like that. I've gotten 2
I
nodes
don't farm
of
camp nodes either.
legendary bluebell, and I've gotten primarily like 4 to 10, somewhere in there, I forget,
Mhm.
of legendary moonbell. And then from there it trickles down where I get like a little bit more and a little bit more. But I've seen so little of legendary myself while out gathering. But obviously if you know where the legendary node is and you hit it, you can just stay there and get it forever. But I'm fine with that. Again, I was hoping that the rarity would allow me to get maybe more blues, more purples, more heroics, and a higher chance of getting a legendary.
As a herbalist, that I've gathered a lot. Like I can show you my banks, and I do not farm a same spot. I don't do that shit. I don't have time for that crap. I do my route, and I have my little route that I do, and that's it. And I have a crap ton of legendary, epic, and rare T3 materials. And for me, I think legendary is way too common. Way too common. And I think that's also leading into the lower tier rarities to be obsolete in the minds of players. And I don't like that. I think uncommon and rare is a great rarity, but people perceive it as trash because they know they want heroic, epic, or legendary. And to me, it just it offers a certain mindset. Like our journeyman T3 lumberjacks, the day that it came out, not even 2 hours later, I saw in trade chat wants to sell legendary braidwood.
Yep.
Already. Like it's all, we just got it and people are already asking and selling legendary braidwood.
Yeah.
And it's just to me, like I don't like how common legendary feels right now. Yeah. And again, it's a numbers game. Like I've said this so many times. Yeah.
The problem is that Eroticin kind of said it right here. There's too many rarities. There's 6 tiers, right? So you're going to see on the market for sale either a white normal common drop because somebody got it from a monster or whatever. They got it as a drop. Or they got so many from just trying to level their skill and they're just like, hey, just do this thing here, take it. You want to buy the thing? You're going to see a couple of the in-between rarities because, hey, I made some while I was leveling and here's this thing. And then you're going to see epic because it's almost legendary and I made some to level. Uh-oh.
I think everything
uh-oh?
froze. Everything froze.
What?
You froze. Vladis froze. Okay, my internet, I guess, is stable now, so we're good. We're back.
Interwebs, no. Okay. We're back. Crisis averted. Okay, crisis averted.
We're safe.
But yeah, then you're gonna see like epics because it's almost legendary, and or it doesn't cost quite as much to make this, and I'm putting this out because whatever, and then it's just legendary because that's what everybody wants, really. Like somebody's like, okay, I can spend for random numbers sake, I can spend like 50 silver for this common, or I can spend a gold for this uncommon, or I can spend a gold and a half for this rare, or I can who cares about the middle stuff? What's the legendary cost? Oh, the legendary is 15 gold. But the epic is 10 gold. And it's almost as good. I'll go for the epic. Like, who has epic stuff? And that's all they do. They ignore everything in the middle. So there's so many rarity stacks that the middle stuff is ignored. So it's either super basic or it's super epic or legendary. And that's all you really see. Because why mess with the middle stuff? Either be a cheapskate and get kind of like the better than what you have, or better than what you have, or get the best.
Yeah,
that's my personal theory on it.
I just want to say real quick to someone in my chat. The reason why it's desynced is because I'm watching their stream and we're talking in real time in Discord, and stream is always like a couple of seconds behind, so it's gonna be a voice desync. Just wanted to say that real quick. But I just feel like in general, like I'm willing to reserve judgment, but I've leveled. I went to level 30 for mining. I went to level 30 for herbing. I'm level like 10 for chopping trees. But I don't feel when I'm leveling any better, because again, it's the static node thing. Like this node is just static, an epic. It's not because I had a better tool or I had a better this or anything like that. It's just this node was epic and that's what it is. And it just doesn't feel good as a gatherer. It feels terrible. The only profession that I've heard people say feels good as far as rarity is hunting, because hunting isn't static at all. You can literally and it's the rarities are rare. There was someone got an epic raptor in my chat, or not in my chat, but in my Axiom chat for our group of gatherers, and everybody was like, oh shit, it was like a huge moment, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even legendary, it was an epic. But because hunters, people that hunt know how rare that is, you know what I mean? And I think that's what I miss a little bit when it comes to the other rarities. It's just, it's not there. It's in hunting, but it's not in any of the other gatherables. And it doesn't feel good. I hope, like I said, I hope it ends up feeling good, because we can talk about the static node rarity issue. Steven's aware of it. The team's aware of it. It ain't going to be that. It's going to be dynamic eventually. But I want leveling a gathering profession to feel meaningful. It just doesn't right now. It feels quite terrible.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know why it's static. It's a little weird to me that it's static, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Part of me is wondering if it was because of how many people they're going to have in one server, so that a lot of people had a chance at getting access to a legendary for sure. But I mean, with the lesser amount of people, it's definitely one of those, that there's somebody logging out and logging in just to get that one node and then moving about their day, which I'm not super a fan of, and I refuse to do it myself. And I mean, hey, somebody's going to do it, so no judgment, but it just feels bad.
I'm sorry, there was a person in my chat says, I think the main issue with the legendary farming is that it comes in waves. Going at specific time nets you more if you can time it. So if you can time all the respawns, you get a better chance. It would be fine to be able to camp a node X times after you get it, but all the resource nodes need to be staggered, so you can't really time them, like logging in at 8 a.m. because they all respawned and the time feels meh. And I agree with that. I think having a static every 2 hours, it will just spawn is shit. It needs to be a variable time frame. So it can be anywhere between 2 to 4 hours, right? So, and anywhere in between that, sometimes it'll be 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it'll be 3 hours and 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll be just the 2 hours. Like, you just don't know. It's a variable.
Yeah.
I have a question for you then. Here's one question that I have then, from a gathering point of view, because I've never really been a crazy gathering type of person. Like, I've never been crazy about gathering, because gathering is just what I did on my characters or my alts, really, when I just wanted to do something in game to be productive, but I also just wanted to chill and not really interact with people, not really do anything crazy, and I wanted to watch a movie or listen to an audiobook or something and just kind of zone out and do something. But if you or anybody in voice, or not in voice, in chat, in either of the streams here has some input, what would you do to make gathering interesting and strategic and actually take some thought and planning if you make everything random, and the only thing with gathering is just literally the amount of time you spend out chopping stuff, and that's the only factor? What would you do to make it more interactive, more interesting? Like, is it just a pastime activity and people are just in general upset because somebody can make it not a pastime activity by remembering spawn locations and going to them, and everything else is random? Or
we just want an even, I think people just want an even playing field. people, because for myself, I'm not going to go back in 2 or 4 hours to remine that location again. I'm just not. I don't have the time. I don't care. It's a test anyway. But but if that ends up staying, like let's say that just ends up staying as the thing, every guide, every YouTube video that I make, every video is going to have that contained information in there that if you want to efficiently be a gatherer, this is what you do to be the most efficient. That's how we are as gamers. And I think having just a little bit of an even playing field, because for me, it's a relaxing thing. It's more chill. I like to just go do my little mining route. I'll come across some things. I'm chilling. Like I'm in Discord, I'm chatting, I'm having conversations. So for me, it's that sort of pastime activity that I can do while talking to people in Discord, having a good time, and actively doing stuff in the game that's beneficial, that I can use to make gear or just stock up my storage shed or whatever. It doesn't need to be so interactive that I need like a mini game for my herbing or whatever. I really don't. I'm fine with it. But for me, the rarity thing just comes into, I want variable spawn rates. I want complete RNG. And I want, if you want to add rarity, I think it should just come from certification levels. Like that to me just makes it an even playing field. So every novice has a set rarity. Every apprentice has a set rarity. And I think for the talent tree, you can probably increase rarity nodes if that's what you want to do further. But again, I think what would make me as attractive, like what's the point if a novice can get a legendary copper node? And me as a grandmaster, I'm still getting uncommon and rare.
Right.
What's the differentiation there?
That to me is what feels bad, but I'm hoping that as you level up your trade, you're getting a higher chance of getting those better quality items. And that's what I'm hoping is like a waterfall stat of that. So it's worth it for me to still go back and get flax, because maybe now I can get a better quality of flax, being a higher level, a higher mastery of an artisan class compared to the level 1.
Yeah, I just want there to be like, I put in all my time to be a gatherer, and then this Joe Schmo level 2 herb just got an epic or legendary thing, like just RNG wise. And to me, it's just like, it's fine on the grand scheme of things, but I want there to feel like there's actual progression. I want there to feel like there's more to just certification levels than just opening up more daisies for me to cut down. You know what I'm saying? But for me, like, I think it should just be a 0% chance for legendary at novice, and it should be a 0% chance for epic. And then as you just keep going in certification levels, it starts opening up more and more and more. But that's just me. I know people will disagree with me on that. I know people want to be able to just have a 1% chance to get a legendary even at novice. And I'd be fine with that too. I'm not here to like be like it's my way or no way. Like I said, I'm dealing with the current system as it is, but it's just I just don't like it. I just want a better system.
So a few things from both the chats, by the way. Somebody in your YouTube chat said, make the gatherers show they have legendary mats on them and then farm players. That'll make it interesting, as the meme answer.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, right. And then Cyber Acer in your chat said, ores need to be in geological locations to keep on top of ore area that needs to be lawless, in my opinion. So there's actual threat to getting those needed rare ores. So like, I guess it would kind of translate into like easily stating lawless zones have a higher chance of having higher rarity, which I'm not a big world PvP fan, but I kind of like that idea.
Well, lawless zones aren't really going to be like, lawless zones were never in the game. Steven just said for the testing, because they didn't have anything in the desert of the tropics, they were going to make them lawless zones to just provide some kind of gameplay loop. But there was never really a design for them.
Unless those islands that are out in the open ocean area stay lawless like the ocean around it. And those will have mining and like tree cutting locations, and those have a much higher chance of being rare. Like that, I could see being really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should have areas, whether it's through an event like a PvP event, and then because that event spawned, now there's like a greater amount of minerals and emeralds and just even willows, just all the different gatherables. in that particular section because there is some sort of an event happening, and now there's like an incentive to go there and get materials as well as PvP. I don't mind that at all. But I just don't want it to be that that's the only way to get those materials. That's just another way. That's what I would do.
And here's something else cool. Sitsuma in our chat ended up saying, could add a mini game to the harvest action. Hit a rock with a random rarity. Let me do a mini game with 5 chances to quote unquote fail. Each failure has a chance to downgrade either the rarity or the volume. So I could hit a Lego rock, fail 3 times, and suddenly I have 3 blue instead of 5 Lego I could have gotten. Like, I mean, that's actually kind of neat.
I think if you have the time to do it, to me, it's just a matter of what do you have time for? Because sometimes, like, I don't have the mental capacity to want a mini game with my gathering, but sometimes I play I will have the, hey, I'll do it. I think given the option, I think if you have a more passive option like the way it currently is now, and then if you want to do a more active option, it should be a choice. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a couple people in chat, just to pull from your chat again. Atash says that lawless equals Zerg will always win no matter what. And that's a bad idea because you'll destroy solos or small groups out of contesting for those materials, going back to the ores being kind of like a lawless zone. And then within our own chat, I missed it already. Oh, Wizard says there's already a wars for raptor hides and those islands would be hard controlled. So like,
but that's fine. The rest of the world is your oyster then at that point. You can gather to your heart's content and not get killed because they're fighting over that island. From a gatherer's point of view, I think that would be pretty great, right? You know that you can just wander the world freely because those islands are the ones people are fighting over. They're not going to come kill you for your, is it legendary or is it not, tree that you just chopped down.
Yeah. I just want to be clear to that. That's why I think having like lawless zones spawn events that then also populate more like bluebells or just like all the different kind of rare gatherables to spawn in that zone. Yeah. I just want that to be another way to do it. Not that is the only way now you get bluebells or you can only get them during these special PvP events. Like that would be completely terrible. But I wouldn't mind if that was just another way to do it.
What if there's a visual indicator? Like trees had like a different color or maybe angle to the leaves. Like if they're more legendary, they're more like upwards, like facing the sun and leaning towards the sun. But if the closer to common they are, the more like droop down and chill they are, or slightly different color to the bark, or like metal was more shiny.
I wouldn't want any kind of a visual representation of the rarity it could potentially hold at all. Really? I just want complete RNG. That's me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of same. I like the idea that somebody else passed up a rock and I chose to hit it because it was there and why not? And oh my god, I got legendary and that dude didn't know.
I wouldn't mind if that was the case for a grandmaster gatherer. Like if I'm a grandmaster lumberjack, I have this kind of sixth sense about certain trees and I can kind of see like a hue, right? And that's an RNG too. Like I'll see, oh, this tree is sparkling green. If I chop it, it'll definitely be an uncommon, or it's sparkling blue, or it's sparkling whatever color, right? Like I wouldn't mind it, but that to me would only come from like the max certification level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that just to be a thing for everyone to have.
And that seems to be the general idea. Like a lot of people that I'm seeing comments from are just like no, or like I hate this or whatever because of various reasons. So I can see that. Again, I'm saying all these suggestions from like and whatnot from a not gatherer point of view. I do it just to pass time eventually, like here and there. But how about if say your tier gave you a boosted chance of rarity. So if you start out, let's say you have a 10% chance of a rarity boost, and then it just dwindles out to the next rarity above until you tier up, and then suddenly it's twice the bonus. And you tier up again, it's twice the bonus. So once you get to Grandmaster, you could be going down to Ash Trees and Granite and be getting almost guaranteed Heroic as a Grandmaster miner.
I think that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
In my mind, yeah, it'd be
So something
terrible.
even to that extreme. Okay.
Yeah, only why is because I don't want commons and uncommons to feel utterly useless. Like I don't. Like that needs to still be like the primary thing. Now, I think grandmasters should have some kind of a better advantage to getting heroics and or rares, heroics, epics, and all the other stuff. But I think having it go too far like that would be bad. It would be extraordinary. Even for a grandmaster, that would be really bad. Like I said, I think because you have to understand because you're not going to be able to grandmaster everything, right? So there's going to be people locked out at master. There'll be certain people locked out at journeyman. They'll be locked out at apprentice. So I want every lockout to feel viable. And I think if that was the case, I think there would be a lot of people just completely discounting the other certification levels because they know grandmasters will always have heroic. So it's just like, then how are the masters, the journeymans, how are they going to sell those uncommons and commons and rares? Like it's going to be completely useless because the people will just end up buying the heroics and up. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I disagree a little bit. I think that
how dare you? No, I'm just joking.
How dare I? How dare I?
How dare you?
I think that the uncommons and the commons are going to be probably bought up by people to then put towards like buy orders that are already competing with people's materials to make things. But I understand where you're coming from with, if you're only ever really getting heroic, you're never seeing any of those lower items. But by the time I hit Grandmaster, I'm hoping that I don't really need anything lower for those lower tier items. Now I could see like the T1 items having a higher chance of heroic plus, the T2 items having a chance of rare plus, and the T3 items having uncommon plus, and then the T4 items still having the full spectrum. And I think that wouldn't necessarily innately make being a grandmaster useless for like the T1 items, but the grandmaster may not need the T1 items at a lower rarity as much as a higher or a lower leveled artisan would need it. And so I think at that point, not only are you able to then sell them to other people who are maybe trying to get weaving up or trying to put in buy orders, but also you're getting something that's more valuable to you. And it feels like it's kind of like that same idea of being able to go back at level 25 and fight a level 1 or a level 3 and being like, look how much faster I killed that. I've definitely progressed in level. It's a very extreme version of that almost, where you're going back to like the T1 stuff and you're able to be like, look how much I've mastered this skill. I'm able to tell which ones are the best ones and I'm picking those.
Well, able to do it more efficiently and better, which to add to that and to kind of expand on what Chibi was saying and whatnot. So if a grandmaster, because there are finite grandmasters, right? You can only have 2 grandmaster skills in all of them. There's what, 16, I think? 16 or 20, something in there, like 16 to 20 different artisan skills you can do. You can grandmaster 2. And if you're pretty much guaranteed heroic at some point, that means you're almost not going to ever get the commons, and commons are used to level other artisan skills. So if they just want to mass purchase somebody else who's a grandmaster or somebody else who's a master or whatever the case is that gets a shitload of uncommon all the time constantly because they're trying to level their gathering skill, then they're not going to get it from the grandmasters. They're going to get a bulk load of small stuff that's going to get somebody some money because they're trying to level, and they're going to be able to level theirs with cheap commons until they get to Grandmaster, and then they can start buying from other Grandmasters because they're Grandmaster processing or Grandmaster crafting. So Grandmasters are going to sell to Grandmasters, Masters are going to sell to Masters, and so on and so forth right down the chain, right?
Yeah.
I am leery on that because you're obfuscating you have no more chance to ever get a common, uncommon, or rare, and now heroic is my common as a grandmaster. I just find
repair bills when you do PvE or PvP activity is common, uncommon, grandmaster, etc., all the way up. Once you start getting to the higher level gear, it costs a lot more to repair your stuff, including, by the way, your gathering material, or your gathering tools, rather, not material.
I mean, that's true. And again, I'm not a smart individual at all. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but my gut feeling is telling me, no, my gut feeling is just, it's sounding the alarms like a little bit. Like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be down to try something like that, but my thing is, I want legendary to feel legendary. I want epic to feel epic. If I was a grandmaster and heroic was now my common, that ends up meaning that epic is now my uncommon and legendary is now my rare, and that means that legendary will not be legendary anymore. And I don't like that design or that philosophy, of design.
So it still could be. Let's say that every single, let's just use rocks as an example, right? And let's say we're talking granite only. Granite is the only material that exists in the world of mine. Let's say that granite has a chance to spawn of 1% legendary and on downwards through the tree. And as a grandmaster miner, you have a 30% chance to boost the spawned rarity of that resource node, or a 40%, or even a 50%, let's say. Now, if you have a 1% chance for it to be a legendary, and then a 50% boost, you now have a 1.5% of any one node to be legendary. It's still legendary, but because you're Grandmaster, it's 50% more chance.
It's like I said, I got to play the system. I just don't want to ruin an economy. And right now, I feel like the Vira economy is kind of ruined from what people have been saying. Now, I don't feel like it is, but the thing is I see how commonly people are outright selling epics and legendaries like they're candy. And I've talked to a lot of people too, and I've asked them that question: do you feel like legendary is pretty rare? And they're like, not really. But in certain ways, it is. Like animal fat, you see a legendary animal fat, that's like a unicorn in a forest. It's like, what the hell? But for everything else, not so much. So in my mind, I just kind of wished all the other gathering professions felt like hunting. Yeah. And I know that sucks to hear for other people because they've gotten used to this system. But as someone who's an advocate for legendary feeling legendary, I think that's the better system.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. They could be doing something with the talent trees that makes rarity even more so the case. And, it is what it is. But I'm going to probably head out. It's 11. It's actually going to be midnight my time.
I was just telling Vertec the same
perfect timing.
thing.
I'm literally typing right now to messaging me.
I was like, it's pretty late.
Should we tap out? We're like 2.5 hours beyond what we normally
Technically,
stream.
my bedtime is in 10 minutes.
Dude, we served the Ashes community today completely. But we did it.
Either way, let this conversation show that so many people have so many different views and so many different ways of approaching things, so many likes and dislikes and thoughts of everything that.
Good morning.
Absolutely.
It's tough to develop a game that many people like and many people of the same approach to a game like.
Yeah.
So Intrepid has their work cut out for them to make something that is within Steven's range of vision to one end of the spectrum or another, on his willingness to flex. Even though the spectrum may go farther on each side, he's willing to go about this much, but also that's going to please the masses that are already interested in a niche game to begin with. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Oh gosh, what's this? TGF Tavern redeemed Steven 12 inches.
You were holding your hands up like this.
Oh, well, let me tell you, dude.
Do tell, what is this?
I
don't know. It wasn't
I had
me.
an audio clip that I found from whenever it was the Extra Life event, and Steven was looking at the board and he said, is that 12 inches? He's like, I know 12 inches. Let me see that right now. I just thought it was a funny clip to get. It's so good.
That one, oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Holy mackerel.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of my thoughts are just typical thoughts. I'm super curious to see how they end up making everything. And I mean, I'm here for the ride regardless. It doesn't have to even go the way that I'm thinking. I think it would just be cool to see what other ways that they're gonna end up making it and how the skill trees work into everything. And who knows,
Me too.
maybe in a year, Vladis, we're gonna be sitting here like, man, we were worried for nothing.
Hey, I've said this on my stream many times. The devs at Intrepid are freaking MMO gamers, man. They play MMOs. They understand the player's frustrations. Like, if there's any more developers that I trust, it's them. So that's why I'm willing to reserve judgment. And I think they've had a pretty good handle on most things so far. Have they needed help to kind of course correct? Absolutely. I'm not saying they're infallible or they're perfect, but they understand is what I'm saying. And the fact that they're willing to continue to listen and continue to shape this game with us is a testament to the kind of philosophy they want to have for creating the alpha.
Yeah. And for those of you over in our chat, if you haven't yet, please go check out Vladis Gaming on I believe you're also Vladis Gaming on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So go check out Vladis Gaming. He's over on Twitch and on YouTube at Vladis Gaming, and he's super awesome. And it's really nice to have a late night with you.
Super great person.
Yeah.
We love some Vladis.
I'm trying to spell because I'm trying to give you a shout out, and I hope I spell it.
When will Gathering Skill Tree come into play? I'm thinking probably sometime in phase 3. So, yeah.
Does it have to be?
It's slash.
Is it slash? Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm an idiot.
Shout out, and then their name.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're not. I'm just used to typing that a lot. So I mean,
commands are all different whether you're talking about a bot or Twitch or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys have been really awesome, and thank you for the awesome conversations across both platforms. I feel privileged to be able to read yours as well.
Absolutely. Now, the next question while we do because we're obviously all doing our closing statements and whatnot. If anybody has an idea on who we should raid, please let us know. I'd hate to let the
Oracle's already redeemed Guide the Raid to Turgo Live.
Oh, did he?
One of our guildies.
All right.
Turgo?
Yeah, Turgo.
Turgo Live.
Turgo is actually one of the guys that I met a long time ago. I think even before Ashes, maybe. We were playing Overwatch 1 together, and he was really, really cool. And then we lost touch with each other, and then suddenly he showed up on an Ashes of Creation live stream, and I was like, is that Turgo? How did he find out about Ashes?
Turgo.
And now he's in our guild. So, pretty cool guy. He's been enjoying Ashes so far. Yeah, but he's playing well right now.
Because, Ashes isn't live tonight, or he'd probably be in Ashes, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. But are you going to join us in raiding, Vladis, or are you going to raid someone else?
I got him pulled up right now.
All right, I'm going to get the raid prepped.
Well, hey, would you have any closing comments you'd like to say about today, Vladis?
Oh,
what
dude,
what is your issue with Alpha 2? I didn't hear that yours.
Oh, mine? Dude, the biggest issue that I have that plagues my existence is whenever I'm playing the Ranger and I'm using my short bow, it literally switches to my melee weapon without me pushing the freaking button. It's been happening since phase 1, and it's super freaking annoying. Like, it pisses me off when I'm literally like da, 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 and then all of a sudden my two-handed sword just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, I didn't even push the button. But yeah, that's like probably one of my biggest issues right there.
That's fair.
So stupid.
That's fair.
So stupid.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. That I think that they should probably fix that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Many pulls have happened because of that.
I sent him a video about it. Like, I don't know what they have to do, but it is what it is. It was.
Grumpy, we're about to go co-raid over to Turgo Live, not Turgo Gaming. I was raiding Vladis Gaming and Turgo Live at the same time. We're raiding over, and you know, we're gonna send him some good vibes. And Vladis, thank you so much for popping into our voice chat and being willing to combine our chats like this. Of course, it was really awesome. I really enjoyed this.
To have you always.
Yeah.
Any day, anytime.
Awesome.
But we'll see you guys over there. And in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks for spending your time here. You could have been anywhere else. You could be doing your own stream, but you're here with us and your time is valuable. So we'll see you around. We'll be back on Saturday with Chaffee. Later.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Thank you for spending your time here. You don't get refunds, so I hope it was worth it. Love you all. Bye.